Welcome everybody to Code Cleric, a gaming podcast, the only podcast that features an American and a Canadian working together. My name is Landon Hansen. I'm joined today by my friend who originates from the Great White North, Asid Anjum. Asid, I asked you earlier today to write me a 2-sentence horror story for this anxiety-inducing episode, and I've been waiting to hear it all day. I just hit me with it. Just
okay. I thought I really went through my list of scariest things to me. I was like, what would make me the most scared? Spiders are at the top, right? So that was gonna be the theme, and then I thought of something even scarier. So that's where we got here, okay? As I sit affront the cold blue light of my computer monitor at the end of GamesFest 2037, a smile creeps onto my face as King Jeffrey reveals his greatest game yet, Elder Scrolls 6. But when the title card appears on the screen, I feel a horrible shock, and my smile slowly fades, seeing the words I never believed would infiltrate my beloved franchise. Woke Edition.
That was way more than 2 sentences.
It's a gaming podcast. I wanted to scare the gamers a little bit.
I get it.
You know?
Frighten
What's
the
scarier
gamers.
than diversity?
No, yeah. Put a pride flag in Kavach and see how they like that.
Kavach?
Anyways,
What's Kavach?
obviously you don't know, dude. Just don't even
was-
don't even try to pretend
My
that
bad.
you know that, dude. Like,
My
oh
bad.
my god, stop. This is Code Cleric, a gaming podcast, a podcast about gaming.
How have you been, Landon?
Oh, I've been
How you been
great.
doing?
I've been wonderful. Yeah, I went to a rave in Wisconsin. So I got free VIP tickets to this thing. It was like a festival called Force Fields in like Cadott, Wisconsin. I've never been into Wisconsin before, so I was like, okay, that sounds fun. Sounds cool. I like music. I like festivals. I like EDM, electronic dance music. You know, like it's not like what I listen to, but hey, I kind of like it. It'd be cool to see it live. It was not EDM, bro. It was dubstep.
No.
Like, you ever heard of Joker beatbox? That. The best part of the entire thing was like we just had a bonfire like every night, and that was super fun. We just had a couple of drinks and like would hang out and like just rest, and it was fine. Like that was the most fun part. And then we woke up the next morning, and I hear, "Oh my God! Somebody puked in the tent!" And I was like, "No." Like, I woke up and immediately checked out, dude. Like, I was so over. I just couldn't be bothered to wake up from that. And she was like, it was like a friend of ours, and she was like freaking out. And I was like, no. It turned out, like, her friend who came along with, she got a little too drunk and puked in the tent.
Love it.
She not only puked, bro, she puked on my white Donald Glover limited edition Adidas. She puked Rainbow Nerds gummy clusters. It was like on white shoes, dude. I was like, ah! I was so fucking up. I was so upset that I didn't like. I was just mute. I wasn't really that, but it was like it wasn't her fault. It was fine. Like I didn't care. But like I was like just generally upset at the situation. We left that day. We left a day early, and thank God we left when we did, bro, because it rained and flooded the campgrounds that night.
Oh my God.
It was
Way to
a
avoid
fucking
that.
trek. It was a journey. I met a monk while I was there. Were, yeah, like a traveling
At a
monk.
rave?
Yes. we were sitting there chilling at the campsite. There's a guy that came by and he was like, "Hello, have you seen Oppenheimer?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he's like,
I don't think that guy's a monk, dude.
He's like, "I'm a traveling monk and I give people books." Oh, I also had a guy offer to. He came up to the campsite and he was like, "Hey guys, how you doing? Yeah, guys, need any K or Molly?" We were like, "Oh no."
So respectfully.
"No, we're good." And he was like, "Yeah, don't buy drugs from strangers." And then just left. And we were like,
What the fuck?
bro, was selling Fent.
All right.
Yes, this is Code Cleric, a gaming podcast, and we usually don't talk about raves in Wisconsin, but we usually do talk about various gaming subjects and topics. And today I have a topic for you really exciting one, a very studious one, if you will, because I took a lot of time to prepare for this one. Later in the show, Asid has, what is it, a game sound effect guessing game?
Yeah.
Cool.
You're gonna guess the game based off the sound effect.
Okay. All right.
I'm excited for it.
I have that kind of autism, so I think I'm gonna win every single one, but we'll see.
Perfect.
And yeah, like always, we'll share what we've been playing. Asid has a little indie game that he wants to show off, and that you should definitely put on your wish list. But before all that, we want to thank you for joining us for Code Cleric. This is episode 4. Episode 4. Code Cleric is an independent production supported by people like you. And if you'd like to support us, follow us on YouTube, Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts as well, so go check us out there. And of course, leave a comment, leave a nice review. It goes a very long way into kind of pushing us out there into the algorithm. And so if you like us, share us with your friends too, and let us know what other topics you would like to see next. With that, it's been a very busy time. I've been gone, so I kind of had to like hurry up and catch up on all the news that fucking happened this past week, and a lot happened. So just kind of, I want to general thoughts. Yeah, what did you think of Showcase season? Just jump right into it, man.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were not the happiest with this Showcase season. I heard a lot of people didn't love the State of Play. A lot of people didn't love Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't love the Xbox Showcase. I usually don't see many people talking about Day of the Devs, which is another one that I usually have my eye on. But the three main shows, not a lot of great reception, which is weird because I actually went into this SGF season with really, really low expectations. Usually, like for the last couple of years, Jeff's been really hyping up the Showcase, and I noticed he wasn't doing that this year, and I was like, yeah, I don't think he's got like anything crazy up his sleeve. But weirdly enough, I was pretty okay with most of the showcases. I think I liked the State of Play the least, even though a lot of people are now saying that was like the best part of the show or the best part of the week. Just the stuff that personally interests me, there wasn't as much of that. But SGF had a lot of things that are not super high brand name things, but stuff that I really, really enjoyed. So I do want to get to some of the stuff that, some of the deeper cuts, especially that I noticed. But you have a lot of things on your list of favorite things from this week that I think are a little bit more AAA or a little bit more broad. So if you want to knock them off one by one real quick.
No, so yeah, like I was entirely removed from it, and so when I was like reading up about it, I read all the things that were announced at the State of Play. I read all the things announced at the Summer Games Fest, and I read all the things announced at the Xbox Showcase, and all of them combined together, I was like, whoa, this is pretty good. Individually, I could see like how people would be like, I guess, upset, or like kind of like uninterested because a lot of it didn't really matter or like wasn't like really tailored towards them. But for me, like with all the showcases combined, there was a lot there for me. It's very strange that State of Play was very like fighting game focused, and that last game, the Marvel game, is really cool too. Like I didn't put it on my list, but like it's very embodying like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and like I think that's pretty sick. I love that game
for sure. I know that one was probably the best received reveal of the entire week. Yeah. I think a lot of people are really excited about that. I'm not the biggest fighting game fan.
Yeah, that's
I played Injustice. I'm sure I'll enjoy it if it's really good, and it's but I just won't get into the competitive scene at all. Dude, so it doesn't scratch that itch for me.
You will get fucking disintegrated.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's so humbling when you think that you're good at a fighting game and then you play against someone who actually knows how to fucking play, and it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, I don't know shit.
The only fighting game that I've put even remotely a little like enough hours into is like the old arcade Marvel Avengers fighting game, because I have that arcade 1-up cabinet for it, and so I would just play that, and I only know how to play it on that weird like cabinet controller thing. I've never put any real time into console fighting games.
Yeah, the only one I put in was Injustice 2. I was obsessed with that game. I put in so many hours. I'm a fucking menace with the Flash in that game. But
okay.
Regardless of that, there's a lot of good games for me. I'll kind of just start off, like, list them off. First of all, Resident Evil 9, that's huge. I'm so listen, they didn't really show much. They showed like a general idea of what Resident Evil 9 is, but you know, it's Capcom. They're no longer Crapcom. They've been very consistent, especially with Resident Evil. So I'm generally excited to see what they have here. I would like to know a little bit more about like what the actual gameplay is. It looks a little it's very strange. I think they're reinventing the series again. So we'll see. Scott Pilgrim EX. The first video on my channel.
I saw that and I was like, oh, Landon's gonna love this.
Yes,
I was almost gonna send it to you, and then I was like, I'll let him figure it out on his
Yeah, no,
own.
I was like scrolling. I was literally right before the Marshmallow concert. I was like just scrolling, like, no way. That was the most excitement I felt the entire night. Like, I was like, holy shit.
Everyone was like, oh, he's super hyped to see Marshmallow.
The first channel, the first video I have on my channel is about a new Scott Pilgrim game, how you would do it. Personally, I think you should do a JRPG, but it seems like they're going to the side-scrolling beat 'em up thing again, which is cool. It's just fine. I think a more refined version of that in comparison, because the original game is very good, but it's very clunky. It doesn't play how you think it should play with like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. And so by having like a more like fluid version, that'd be really cool. Some with more content, and it would be really great as well. I'm really excited to see what happens. It's by the people who made Shredder's Revenge 2, and that game is
Shredder's Revenge 2?
Shut the fuck up. You do that every single time.
It's because you say it in a certain way that just makes me think that.
I really do. But Shredder's Revenge is really great. It's an amazing side-scrolling beat 'em up. I love TMNT. We also got some Indiana Jones DLC. I'm a big fan of that game. I was very tired of that game by the time I beat it through my own fault, because I was fucking trying to complete everything, and that was a horrible mistake. So now I know going into this, don't do everything, just experience it. But I really appreciated that game for what it was. I think it's a lot of good stuff there. Final Fantasy Tactics, bro.
I heard not great things about that reveal. I heard that people are not the most fond of the look.
That's fair. They have an original graphics setting though, so it's like I don't know why people are being like upset.
Okay.
There's like it's like they have voice acting in like tactics games. Like I tried playing Tactics Ogre, and like it had voice acting in that, and that was just like, ugh, I couldn't stand it. They're doing that in this as well. Just turn it off. Make sure the graphics go back to the original. And
so is this an old game that they're remastering, or is this a new game?
This is so. I'll give you a little history lesson here. So 1997, if you bought Final Fantasy VII, you'd like open the PS1 case, and there's like a little advertisement for Final Fantasy Tactics in there. I think that came out the same year, if not maybe 1998. And it's a spin-off Final Fantasy game that's tactics based, where it's like a grid based system, and then like you kind of have there's a big like overarching story. You like assemble like a team. There's a whole job system that's frankly it's pretty cool. Very detailed. It kind of, I don't know, it was a very good implementation of the job system since Final Fantasy V. I know that means nothing to you because you're not a JRPG guy, but at least a classic JRPG guy. But it's a really special game. I've never beat it personally. I've always loved playing it though, and I really can't wait to sink like my teeth into it and like actually experience it in its entirety. So very excited about that. Of course, Ghost of Yote. I didn't see anything. I didn't watch it.
Oh yeah, what a trailer. What a crazy trailer. You missed out.
Really?
Did you not watch it?
No. I'm kind of.
Yeah, it was super, when they revealed like that there's going to be an event in a month that they're actually going to show the game, and for some reason they just didn't show anything during this conference. I was sick.
I knew there was a tinge of sarcasm there, and I was like, what do you mean?
It literally just like showed her and the wolf, and then just a big event in July. I'm like, what the fuck is it doing here then?
Just like, freaking wait. It's like that Witcher 4 tech demo. It's like, this is what we kind of want the game to look like, hopefully. And it's like, great.
Except it was even less like that. It was completely substanceless. It was just one super brief cutscene thing, and then event later.
What the fuck, dude? I didn't see
That was
anything
like
about
such
that.
a Nintendo move.
I'm
from
not
them.
even gonna watch the showcase because I'm already sold
Honestly,
on
I
the
might
game.
not either.
It's just like
Yeah.
I want to go into it, like whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Silent Hill F. Very interested in this. Silent Hill has
That one
had
looked kind of cool. Yeah.
tiny bit of research. I mean, they've had one hit, so it's like we can't say for sure. But Silent Hill 2 was great, and Silent Hill F looks like to be a very new idea. It looks very creepy as frick, dude. Like I'm very new. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. Gotta wait and see though. You can't trust Silent Hill games until they come out. So. And then, of course, Outer Worlds 2. I also didn't watch anything about it, but I've heard some pretty cool stuff about Outer Worlds 2. Like the fact that, like, my friend called me and he was like, apparently if you, like, fall off of, like, a height and, like, you, like, take a little bit of damage, eventually you'll develop a flaw that gives you creaky knees. And so whenever you crouch or, like, stand back up, your knees will crack and it will alert the guards. Like, they will know
Oh,
where
that's
you're at.
awesome.
It's like,
That's such a. Yeah, I didn't watch the full direct for it. I know that they had it right after the Xbox showcase. There was like a 30-minute thing that they were talking about that and Grounded 2. But that's such an interesting use of the flaw system in
Yes.
the first game, which, like, obviously the first game had that flaw system and kind of did a similar thing, but to do it that seamlessly, potentially, hopefully that's, the case with a lot of the flaws in the game. Yeah, that feels like a good next step for that system.
Yeah, no. Best case scenario, it works seamlessly like that, and it's not too like, I guess, stat based, more gameplay focused. Like I would. Yeah. He also told me about this one. You could become a kleptomaniac, where if you steal a lot in the game, eventually you develop a flaw where you automatically steal. The game automatically steals for you, and you'll just have things in your inventory. And it's like as if you just blanked out and like just stole something. It's like that's so fucking cool, dude.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
I'm really excited. I love Outer Worlds 1. I think that game's super underrated. I still need to play that DLC. I can't wait to get. I think I'm gonna play Outer Worlds 1 and all of its DLC before Outer Worlds 2 comes out, and then I'll have a big Outer Worlds kind of blowout. But yeah, that's my most anticipated games. I'm sure there's a bunch of other games too that I missed. I wasn't able to watch the things as they were going, so I'm sure there's some games that I definitely missed. But
yes,
yeah. What about you?
I'll say that some of these you should maybe pull up while I'm talking about them.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I want you to see them. Because, well, first of all, there's 007. This is just one of the bigger games that I noticed that you didn't have on your list.
Yeah.
No, it was just IO Interactive,
Yeah.
Uncharted-esque, James Bond. Nothing from what they've shown is like completely blowing me away, but it looks rock solid. So I'm kind of just, waiting for it to come out. Nothing like super hype, but I think it could be really fun. Felt that boxing though. This is one that you have to pull up.
Yeah, this is. Hold on, I'm watching it right now. This is awesome.
It is unbelievable. First of all of that footage is like real-time gameplay footage. They found a way to make it all work in Unreal with the way the Muppets look. You should take some time. I don't know if you're listening to it right now, but it is funny as shit. Like it's a minute and a half long trailer. It's so funny, and it's like this parody of this Muppet guy in like a boxing ring and like training to be the best, and they just go full parody with all the dialogue and the way that they're talking and the way that they're moving. And yeah, it's basically just like a Muppets arcade boxing game, and they have training mini games. It seems like dodging toast, and like there's one that's literally beating meat. And there's like a counter on top that's like meat's beat.
That's so good, dude.
Yeah. And then there's like the actual, like straight up boxing of the game. Now I don't know exactly how it'll play, but the way that it looks is incredible. The way that the camera works is incredible.
Yeah.
The characters just move so wonderfully. What a great surprise that was at SGF. I really like this one.
That's so fucking cool, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe
this
I
is
missed
one that I could have sworn would have been VR the way that it's shot, but I don't think it is, which is good. Sword of the Sea was another one that I was really.
This game looks sick.
Yeah, this game is from the people behind Journey, Abzu, The Pathless.
Have you played The Pathless?
I have.
Dude, that game's so good.
It's really fun.
Oh
yeah.
I haven't played Journey. I haven't played Abzu, but I've played The Pathless, and I had a really good time with that game.
Yeah, I've played Journey and the Pathless. The Pathless is definitely more active than Journey, and from what I understand, Abzu. But this one seems much more relaxed,
Yeah,
and there's an engaging element to it, and I really hope that there are some active elements to them. Like the Pathless was really good because you had to incorporate skill alongside your very casual, free-flowing movement. And so I hope they have something similar here with actual skateboarding, snowboarding-esque mechanics on the sand and stuff. But it really just feels like an amalgamation of a lot of the games that they've made. I think you do go like underwater at some point, something like that. So biome diversity is there in spades. Looking forward to that. Quick one, Hirogami. This was something that happened super fast at the PlayStation State of Play. I really just like the art style. It's this small, simple indie game. I don't really have much to say about it. It was just one of the things that was visually striking from that showcase.
That frame rate, that like stop motion shit. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Stranger Than Heaven. This is, if you remember, Landon, when we watched, I believe it was the Game Awards, Project Century by RGG Studios.
Yeah, the like old Yakuza.
Yeah,
thing
basically.
that's not Yakuza.
Exactly. So that's what Stranger Than Heaven is. And so that's the official title. I think it looks really interesting. I think it might interest me more than Yakuza. I've never gotten into Yakuza. I think in one part of it is that the first one that I played was Yakuza Kiwami, which just had it had really basic combat and a lot of combat, and I was just getting sick of it at a certain point. And I liked the weirdness of it and the Yakuza elements of it, but
Bro got hit with a fucking Molotov and just brushed it off. Like he literally just like blocked it with his forearm and like as if nothing happened.
Yeah. But yeah, my experience with Yakuza is I've always wanted to get back to it, but then the ones that interest me the most I know are also pretty time consuming, and Yakuza's known for all the side quest weirdness that you can get into. Stuff that I really want to do, but sometimes I'm like, man, I really want to focus on like shorter games. So yeah, I either way, I think this one is still somewhat up my alley. It seems a little bit more self-serious, so we'll see how that goes. Onimusha, another quick trailer. We already knew about this. I am not super familiar with the Onimusha franchise. I know that it's like an old school PS2 franchise that people have a lot of love for, but just as a fan of melee combat games, this looks fun as hell.
You should that first Onimusha game is super fast, super quick. I think it's like 6 hours long.
Okay.
And it's on like PlayStation.
You think it holds up?
I haven't beat it. I've played it. Okay. I think it's fine. But I think I'm thinking of like, if I do play this game around the time it comes out, I'm thinking of probably jumping into the ones that are at least released on like modern hardware and jumping into it. But I've heard that first one's pretty accessible to get into if you want to check it out beforehand. But this looks sick. I mean, it's Capcom. Like it looks generally fucking good. So I don't know.
Yeah, it looks really good. Still rapid firing through these. Atomic Heart 2. I have played Atomic Heart 1. I've played a chunk of Atomic Heart 1. It was a game that I was super excited for at first because it just was crazy Russian BioShock, essentially. And the game came out, and it's apparently sold well, and it had a lot of like decent elements to it. It definitely wasn't a complete failure of a video game, but I think that they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. I didn't like the open world elements. I thought some of the core combat was really fun, and the art design is great, and the world is great. Story sucked ass. The protagonist was terrible. So there were good elements and there were bad elements to that game. And then here they are with Atomic Heart 2 not too long after, and they've added it just looks like GTA or Cyberpunk now in the Atomic Heart universe. And I have no idea how they have... Yeah, it seems like they're somewhat well into production, and to have this much going on, I don't know. There's something weird about that team, Mundfish. Like there were some like weird rumors around. People thought Atomic Heart might have been a money laundering scheme at first, and then it actually came out, and it was like, it was doing the things that it said it would.
Yeah.
So I do think it's a legitimate video game. I just always have an eyebrow raised at it at all times. But I don't know. Looks cool. Looks ambitious.
You just want to get dominated by those robot mommies.
Oh, hell yeah. Exactly. That was legitimately the point where I was like, yeah, I don't know if this game is for me, man. Going a little too hard into that gooner bait over here.
Yeah. The goonery is crazy.
Yeah. The trailer for Atomic Heart 2 had so much ass as well. So I was like,
you said that, and the ass just like appeared on screen. Like
I summoned it. Yeah, no, it was I don't know. I hope it'll be good. Out of Words was one that really spoke to me. It looks like, just a great co-op adventure game in the vein of, obviously you think It Takes Two, but this reminds me a lot, especially of Unraveled, which is another EA game actually. But really, it seems like a fairly simple premise. The anti-gravity stuff will probably be used quite a bit, probably much smaller in scope than It Takes Two. But just I love new co-op games. I love the art style of this one, the stop motion look, just real cute. Yeah, that one looks good.
Yeah, I like that the two main characters can't talk.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing about It Takes Two that I really disliked. It was the dialogue.
Yeah. That's very fair. Yeah. I mean, the whole premise here is that they can't talk, like, straight up. Yeah. So, yeah. Then there's Big Walk. This is from the same people who made Untitled Goose Game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And just what an interesting game. And I think this is one that you're really going to appreciate. It is this like co-op adventure thing where they've built this gigantic open space, and there's proximity chat, and they've put a lot of time into the proximity chat to the point where if you're in this interior, then your voices echo. If you're farther away, then you sound farther away. Like they really refined it super well. And there's all these small moments and things you can do. They show you can watch the sunset, and one of you can have binoculars, and another one can grab the binoculars and throw it into the river and just be like, well, whatever. Like, you can go to like dances, and you can go camping, and just. This
is super
I'm
cute,
so
dude.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see. It's not a game that I think will necessarily interest me in the way that it's out, and I'm like, oh, I have to play this right away.
Yeah.
But I just love it in terms of what it does for games,
Yeah, no, definitely. It looks like a fun hangout, just to get a bunch of friends together and just fuck around.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go through the next one super quick. Super Meat Boy 3D. I love Super Meat Boy. I even like the Endless Runner that they made. I know a lot of people don't love that one. That was also after I forget his name, Edmund, whatever his last name is, but he left the project. He's the same guy who did Binding of Isaac.
Oh.
And a few other, like, he's made a lot of really, really big indie games.
Yeah.
So the team is without him now, and it has been for a while, but the reveal of Super Meat Boy 3D looked super fun, brought in a lot of the same stuff that I loved about Super Meat Boy. Looks like a good, fun time. Clockwork Revolution. This is one that, Landon, you got to take the time to look into this.
I forgot that this game even existed, and then I just saw it on here, and I was like, oh yeah. And bro, just speak my language here, man.
This is this is one of the games where I'm like, I have not seen a more Landon game than this. First of all, the aesthetic. Right, the aesthetic is very BioShock, very obviously like it's like steampunk BioShock. That's what people were saying when it first came out. But there's like really interesting decision making in this game. It's like a full on RPG. There's a sequence in this trailer that has that decision making process, and I think you'll really appreciate it. And I hope that they follow up on it in the real game, and it really does have these kinds of consequences and just super fleshed out interactions that you don't necessarily like. Even in games where you have a lot of choices, they can feel not as interactive. Like they can end up creating like these new situations and people liking you or not liking you. But this one was like you talk a guy into getting angry, and then he just like there's a cutscene of him slamming this candle into his minion's head, and his brain's just going all over the place, and it was just so much more dynamic. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then the powers that you have are time traveling powers or something, and yeah, it's almost like Titanfall where you can make the past and present come back and forth, and so they open up new platforming things and everything. It's just crazy. I think that you would love this. And something that I didn't realize is that the devs behind this are the same devs behind Wasteland.
In Exile.
In Exile, yes.
Founded by Brian Fargo, who's one of the co-creators of Fallout, the original Fallout games. Too.
Oh,
so there's a lot of synergy here. It's kind of like an offshoot of like how like Obsidian was like OG Fallout devs. In Exile is like another one, like another silo. And like the Wasteland games were also created by Brian Fargo. And the Wasteland and Fallout is a spiritual successor to Wasteland. So there's definitely a lot of some good energy here for sure. Totally forgot that this game was coming out though. Oh my God.
That one's super up your alley.
Is there a release date?
No, it just said in due time. I know, but they did show a lot, so you should take the time to watch that full trailer. Last couple games, there are no ghosts in the Grand. Weird ass trailer. I didn't think I would like this at first. It looked like a power wash simulator type game, like an interesting power wash simulator type game. But then all of a sudden, it turned into this mystery that you were solving at the same time, and you didn't want the villagers to know that you were doing that, so you were doing this power washing and renovating simulator like in the meantime. And then it gets this weird Cthulhu energy, and things start breaking apart, and reality starts warping. It got so weird so fast, and just another one of those games where I'm like, I don't know if this is necessarily the game for me, but I love it for the ecosystem of games. Really interesting looking.
Yeah.
And then the last one on this list is Keeper, which is the new game from Double Fine, who obviously made Psychonauts.
BioShock.
Yeah, they obviously made BioShock. They made Psychonauts.
Yeah, dude.
Psychonauts 1 and 2, classics. And this one, I love the look of this. It does seem to be a smaller, maybe almost more like Inside type cinematic platformer. I've yet to see exactly how engaging the gameplay itself is going to be, but the look of this game, the art style, the locations, the lighting, it's all just incredible. So on that front, and the fact that it's Double Fine, it's just like, it's got me hooked. I'm like, I'm interested. I think it's maybe coming out later this year. So yeah, that went on for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Oh, sick. Yeah, that went on for a lot longer than I wanted, but I had a lot of things that I really wanted to get to, and I think were worth shouting out.
So yeah, now that we got our feet wet, it is time that we get into the topic at hand here, 50 minutes later, hopefully a little less than that on your end. But so there have been many gaming urban legends in the gaming sphere since the genesis of the industry. From innocent playground rumors to mass suicides, here are some of gaming's most infamous urban legends and how they hold up today. Asid and I'm gonna present 5 gaming urban legends to Asid, and then from there we're both gonna rank them against each other. So like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 being the best, 5 being absolute piss poop. So yeah.
Okay.
Before we get into it, Asid, how you feeling? We got a little list here, but I think we'll just kind of keep it a surprise until like I read the thing. But yeah, how you feeling?
Good. I think I saw the list, and I've recognized 2 of the names, and I know one of them is really, really popular, but at least one of them, maybe all of them are. But I really don't have a lot of knowledge on all of this, which was one of the things we were talking about, and you were like, "It's fine. I'll do all the research and present it to you." And so I'm really excited to see, what some of these are. I this is a side of the internet that I'm just not tapped into, so it should be fun.
Cool. I'm like that image of Omni-Man lifting up the cross with the big butt cheeks. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That's
of
me
course.
doing all the heavy lifting this episode. That's All right, so let's get into it. In 1982, the Steven Spielberg classic E.T. the Extraterrestrial was released in theaters and became an instant pop culture phenomenon. Blah 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 blah. You guys know the rest. Around this time, Atari, the video game company, aligned a game release around almost every single blockbuster movie of the era, such as Halloween, Alien, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Raiders of the Lost Ark, just to name a few. And all of them received well-made video game adaptations for the Atari 2600. The same could not be said for E.T., the video game. So typically, an Atari 2600 dev cycle was around 6 to 9 months, with only one person developing the game. However, E.T.'s game designer, Howard Scott Warshaw, was given just a measly little 5 weeks to develop the game in time for the Christmas season, and it went just as poorly as you would expect. This is the same guy who developed the Raiders of the Lost Ark game previously that was really well received, so it's not his fault that this game is dog shit. So yeah, you control the titular 3-foot-tall freak from a top-down perspective, and the objective is to collect 3 pieces of an interplanetary telephone. The pieces are scattered randomly. You find them in these random-ass pits, and as E.T., you move, teleport, fall, and levitate, all while consuming an on-screen energy bar. Once you collect all the pieces of the phone, you go to a designated area where you phone home, and then a timer appears on screen. And then now you have to arrive to the landing zone in time. And once you are picked up, the game repeats itself. But the pieces are scattered in a different locations. Ooh, riveting. Aside from being just boring, what made this game so bad is how absolutely broken it was on release. The controls wonky as hell, and supposedly falling into pits was a random occurrence that would just happen with no rhyme or reason. And escaping these pits was incredibly frustrating as well, since it was likely that you would just fall back in. Like, you would levitate to the pit, to the top of the pit, but then the second it would bring you to the top down screen, it would register that, oh, you're on the pit, and just bring you right back down. So this awful gameplay and the general disappointment led to massive returns and millions of unsold game cartridges, and E.T. is generally considered one of the worst video games ever made. So with millions of copies returned and unsold sitting in random warehouses, where did they all go? Well, rumors quickly spread that Atari had secretly dumped them in an Alamogordo, New Mexico landfill, even going as far as to cover them with concrete to hide the absolute failure. Reports came in alleging that between 10 to 20 semi-truckloads of Atari games were dumped, crushed, and buried, and since scavenging was not allowed in the area, no one is able to confirm these reports. For decades, it was debated as to whether or not the story was true, or just an industry myth, a symbol of the video game crash of 1983. But in 2014, a documentary team excavated the alleged site and made a wild discovery that the cartridges were in fact real. They unearthed 1,300 ET cartridges alongside other unsold games like Centipede and Space Invaders. One of gaming's most notorious urban legends turned out to be true. And if you'd like to know more, there's a documentary called Atari Game Over, where they document the shocking reveal. So, Austin, give me your thoughts.
Okay, first of all, I was aware of how bad the ET game is. That the amount that game has been panned is something that transcends, knowledge of urban myths and stuff like even knowledge of Atari or anything, right? Like, everyone knows that game is. I think some people have that as maybe the worst game of all time. Mm-hmm. And so that I was familiar with. I was not familiar with the fact that, one, it took the guy 5 weeks to make, which is just like, come on, man. Like, especially back then, I guess I don't really know how game dev worked back then, but it can't have been easy you didn't have, standardized game engines. I'm sure a dedicated game developer right now could make something way, way better than that in the span of a weekend. But like in 19, when was it? 1990? No, 1980.
81?
81. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Giving a guy 5 weeks to make an ET video game in 1981 is pure insanity.
Yeah, no. it's crazy how like the dev time trajectory went, because it's like 6 to 9 months, one person for like the Atari, and then games. When like game teams were like developed, so like NES, SNES era, bam, 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 bam. You just pop them out that pussy like quick. You know, it was crazy how fast. Like fucking 6 Final Fantasy games came out within the span of like I think 7 years. So it's like it was pretty fast, you know. And then now game development time has like steadily increased again.
Oh yeah.
So it's really interesting to kind of see that curve with the thing, but yeah, no, insane. Just absolutely insane.
Yeah. So at a base level, that's ridiculous. Now on this rumor that was then confirmed later on that they had just been dumping this out in a landfill. Okay, a few things. One, you said that another part of the rumor was that they had like poured concrete over it in order to hide it. In that documentary, do they verify that that's what happened?
I didn't see the documentary, so I don't know. I was just researching it, and I was like, okay, this is what it said, so I'm just gonna put it up there. Apparently, the documentary is not very long. I just didn't have time to watch the documentary for one excerpt for the podcast. You know?
No, yeah, for sure.
So yeah, viewers at home, go home and watch it and see.
So how did people even think like, oh yeah, they must have thrown them out and then poured concrete over it? Was it just maybe the drivers had like told their buddy about it?
Yeah, I'm
always curious about how this stuff. You know? Yeah, how this stuff comes out, because the fact that it was confirmed,
like someone had a yap, you know.
Oh my
like,
god!
Eventually,
yeah.
And it was pretty quick. Like I think everyone there was just like, yeah, they put Atari games in there, and they're like, really? And it's like, yeah, just trust me, bro. And then
that is so funny.
It is hilarious. This is the only urban legend that turned out to be like actually true, the entire thing. So it's like it's cosmically funny.
Spoiler.
I guess.
How dare you?
Spoiler.
No.
Sorry, Hero Brian's not fucking real, but.
So, that's so funny to me. Just as somebody who also has been ashamed of their work in the past, it's like I just private the video or something, you know. I'm like, I guess it was out there, but whatever, it is what it is. Just the idea of being so ashamed of some of your work that you go out of your way to create a mass grave of them, and then pour concrete over it.
It's crazy. I think a lot of the games were auctioned off, but a lot of the cartridges are in the Smithsonian now too. So it's a documented like. It's like literally their mistake is put on a pedestal. It's like, look at
that's
this
so funny.
Absolute failure in the story behind it. It is hilarious.
So why were the documentarians allowed to go in?
I don't know. I feel like they probably just got they just worked out the paperwork. It's like, hey, we're making a movie.
It was probably just like a really long process. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at that point, like, plus it kind of like puts, you know, press on the towns. I'm sure the town was like, oh, sure, yeah, you know, whatever. I don't know how it goes. But yeah. Automatically, I'm putting this at a 1 because this is just so funny. we'll rearrange them as we go, but just
this is I mean, it can go anywhere right now. It doesn't matter, but I feel like this is a good baseline.
Yeah,
this is a good nothing so crazy that. Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely funny that they felt the need to do that, but it's nothing so crazy that, you know, it'll like keep you up at night and be like, how did all these it's just they were just embarrassed and they threw it all out in the garbage.
No. Yeah. One of the most famous urban legends on the planet Earth is, of course, the mythical Bigfoot, an ape-like beast said to be native to the Pacific Northwest of North America. Now, of course, everyone knows who Bigfoot is, and while he is most certainly fake, okay, don't even try, bro. We all know he's fake. Seeing Bigfoot in a video game is a lot more believable for obvious reasons. And when you have a game as big and as zany as 2004's Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, almost anything is possible. Almost instantly upon the game's release, user forums alleged that a Bigfoot-like character was wandering about the forests of San Andreas, near the Back of Beyond, the Shady Cabin, and of course, Mount Chiliad. A lot of the discussion was pretty much, bro, I think I saw an ape-like figure in the woods, but it was just too blurry. It was too far away, and when I went to approach him, he was just gone. But like, trust me, bro, he was there, man. And even rarer accounts say that Bigfoot even attacked them while they were playing. Some users even captured video and photo evidence that were later disputed to be faked or a mod. And what didn't help is that a brochure that came with the game had a thanks to section where an individual named Bigfoot was thanked. However, this turned out to be a nickname for a Rockstar employee. Musty ass motherfucker.
Why are you going after him for no reason? What the fuck?
Rumors persisted, and as time went on, the phenomenon grew bigger and bigger. The only record of Rockstar acknowledging Bigfoot in San Andreas comes from an EGM cover story, Electronic Game Magazine, for all you Gen Zers out there, where they interviewed Terry Donovan, who was the CEO at the time of Rockstar Games, and he says, quote, "There is no Bigfoot just like in real life, but we desperately want to believe. In fact, we'll give a free game to anyone with any real evidence that Bigfoot stalks the state. Send it to egm@ziffdavis.com with the subject line, Bigfoot lives, ! So there is no Bigfoot in GTA San Andreas. You can look at the files. He's not there. However, the rumor never left the minds of fans and the developers. 6 years later, when Red Dead Redemption's incredible Undead Nightmare expansion released, Rockstar included a cheeky side quest where John Marston hunts down several wild Sasquatch who eat human babies. To this day, Bigfoot is a big part of Rockstar Games culture, and they even included another reference in GTA 5's final side quest where they dispelled the Bigfoot rumor once and for all. So yeah, got a classic here, not only for real life but for Rockstar Games. Just what do you think?
I mean, this one's interesting. This is one of the things I love. Is first of all the fact that they ran with it after the fact, and they just like put him in the games. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But also just people really looking for secrets and that shared element of games. We've talked about this a little bit, where there's an element to how much we're sharing now and how quickly things come out, and guides and this and that and whatever. It's just like all this information feels like it's out there. So anytime that there's this was obviously a little bit longer ago, but anytime that there's that organic thing where it's like everyone's talking about this and nobody's 100% sure, and it reminds me a little bit of that Arkham Asylum detail of there's this one guy who didn't have bones or something when you did detective mode.
Yeah.
And so people were like, is this Clayface? Is this supposed to be something? Or, what is this in reference to? And then people weren't sure if those were faked, and people weren't sure if they're like, it gets confusing. And I mean, especially in games that have some horror element to them. You said the first time it was in GTA San Andreas?
Yeah. That's
okay.
Like,
so
there was a really, I believe San Andreas was the first one that actually had like a forest or like a kind of country region that you could explore. And a lot of the vibes there were creepy as hell. It was like just misty as hell. It's so detached from the city. It's just really ominous. And so it kind of begs for like, oh, something should be here. Like, I feel like something creepy should be here. And then Bigfoot's just obvious, like it's just putting him there. It's like, put an ape in there,
Yeah. Do you think the rumor started because people were just trying to fuck around, or do you think people actually thought that they saw something in there?
I'm definitely fucking around. It just kind of like getting people to waste their time, but like in a fun way. Like it's semi-trolling, but it's just like, yeah, bro, Bigfoot's in there. And they're like, really? And it's like, yeah, go to Mount Chiliad and wait at 3 a.m. and then you'll see him across the horizon. And it's just like a total elaborate troll with so much like magical energy behind it, because it's like, what if, and no, it's really a product. Like all these urban legends in a sense are really a product of their era, because stuff like this today is just, you can't really do it because information's so ready and accessible and at our fingertips. And it's just like, if you told me that fucking Thomas the Tank was in Elden Ring, I'd be like, of course not, are you kidding me? But if you told me that, on the playground in like 2008, I
Yeah,
probably
because
would.
right now I would just Google Thomas Tank Engine Elden Ring, and like Google's shitty AI will be like, yeah, he does exist, and that's how I know, like, oh, so he doesn't.
Yes, no, exactly.
I literally used Gemini as a way to be like, oh, so that's not real then.
It's just reverse psychology at that point. But yeah, there's like there's a magic to it, and the fact that they included it into the later games is really fun. That side quest in Undead Nightmare is so fucking funny. It's so good. The fact that it percolated in GTA 5 as well is really great. And this was kind of the genesis of like Rockstar Games kind of rumors and like I have a whole video about like Red Dead's mysteries. And there's just such a special sauce with like how they include their like obscure, like, you know, kind of spookier Easter eggs, you know, like the UFOs mainstay, the like serial killer shit that they have in all the games mainstay, like that's in GTA 4 as well. And Bigfoot is just kind of like another one of those like silos in that. So yeah, for me, I'm thinking a solid 3 because it's good. It was fake, but it was fun, and it's just it's a mainstay, you know. So I don't know. What are you thinking?
So you're keeping the Atari one at 1.
Yes.
And you're putting this one at 3.
Yes.
I think I might like this one more.
You think so?
Because the Atari one is like, again, it's funny that it exists, and it's also funny that it was just true. But it's also, at the end of the day, it's just like, oh, they were super embarrassed, so they threw it out, you know. Mm-hmm. But this one is like, you really get the community engaged, and that one also, like, it only got figured out because it was like, well, I guess nobody can do anything about it, and then one day people were like, hey, let's dig this up, and then they found it out. And
yeah,
there you go. But here it was like people were involved, and people were, you know, first of all, spreading the rumor, and then trying to find the rumor, and then faking the rumor, and then somebody gets involved, and it's like, hey, it's not real, but send it all over to me, and Bigfoot lives, and then it goes into these other games and everything. It just has more of a life cycle, more of an ecosystem around it. So I personally, I'd put at this time, I would put Atari number 3 as like our setter. Our trendsetter, I guess, and then the Bigfoot one goes one above there, so that's at number 2 for me. Yeah,
I don't disagree. Okay, yeah, well, oh my god, my document just got like totally fucked. Yeah, we'll put Atari at 3 for now. Sasquatch at 2. We'll leave the number 1 spot open and see what's up, and then yeah, we'll look at these later as well. So next one I got. Before Minecraft became the monumental success that it is today, it's important to remember how quaint the original game was in its pre-alpha stage.
Hold on, who is this? What's this? I feel like I should know who this is.
This is me. I don't know what you're talking
about. Off. Is this? Are you parodying somebody specifically, or is this just your new voice? No, this is kind of
like general, like generic
video
British
essay,
YouTube, creepypasta.
No, yeah, for sure. Okay, I gotcha.
Minecraft's first public version was created and released on May 19th, 2009 by one person, Swedish programmer and game designer Notch. Minecraft was a big hit and steadily grew in popularity over the years. And with popularity comes hearsay. I'm not doing this anymore. On July 31st, 2010...
It was working. It was working for me. It really was.
I'll keep it going.
I'm starting to realize how much of the vibes of those videos come just from the fact that they're British.
No, literally.
Because when you said the last couple ones, I was just like, well, it's just some fucking American dude telling me about a goofy story. But this, I was like, oh, he's really a lore expert. He must be.
Okay,
he has the accent.
I'll keep this up. I can do this all night.
You can do it for this one, yeah.
On July 31st, 2010, Minecraft forum user Flaky posted a comment, supposedly copied from a post on 4chan, containing a story of a player encountering an entity with glowing white eyes after listening to the 13th music disc. This story is the first known instance of an alleged white-eyed paranormal being in Minecraft. Months later, another story was posted to 4chan, and the post is as follows. Minecraft. I had recently spawned...
I thought that was the whole thing.
God damn. Why did I break, dude? That wasn't that funny.
No, that was just imagine that the payoff to all of that is that there's a post.
Oh,
It's
man.
just
Minecraft. That was good. That was good. Okay. God damn it.
You got it.
I had recently spawned in a new world in a single-player Minecraft. Everything was normal at first as I began chopping down trees and crafting a workbench. I noticed something move amongst the dense fog. I have a very slow computer, so I have to play with very tiny render distance. I thought it was a cow, so I pursued it hoping to grab some hides for armor. It wasn't a cow though. Looking back at me was another character with a default skin, but his eyes were empty. I saw no name pop up, and I double-checked to make sure I wasn't in multiplayer mode. He didn't stay long. He looked at me and ran quickly into the fog. I pursued him out of curiosity, but he was gone. I continued on with the game, not sure what to think. As I expanded the world, I saw things that seemed out of place for a random map generator to make. 2x2 tunnels in the rocks, small perfect pyramids made of sand in the ocean, and groves of trees with all the leaves cut off. I would consistently think I saw another player in the deep fog, but I never got a better look at him. I tried increasing my render distance too far whenever I thought I saw him, but to no avail. I saved the map and went onto the forums to see if anyone had found the pseudo player. There were none. I created my own topic telling of the man and asking if anyone had a similar experience. The post was deleted within 5 minutes. I tried again, and the topic was deleted even faster. I received a PM from a username Herobrine, containing one word: stop. When I went... when I... Oh, fuck. God damn it.
It's so spooky.
When I went to look at Herobrine's profile, the page forward, I received an email from another user, form user. He claimed that the mods can read the forum user messages, so we're safer using email. The emailer claimed that he had seen the mystery player too, and had a small directory of other users who had seen him as well. Their worlds were littered with obviously man-made features as well, and described their mystery player to have no pupils. About a month passed until I heard from my informant again. Some of the people who had encountered the mystery man had looked into the name Herobrine, and found that the name to be frequently used by a Swedish gamer. After some further information gathering, it was revealed to be the brother of Notch, the game's developer. I personally emailed Notch and asked him if he had a brother. It took him a while, but he emailed me back with a very short message. I did, but he is no longer with us. Notch.
He emailed me back with a very short message. He emailed me back with a very short message. Minecraft.
I haven't seen the mystery man since our first encounter, and I haven't noticed any changes to the world other than my own. I was able to press print screen when I first saw him. He's the only evidence I have of his existence. I don't know. You know what Herobrine looks like, so I'm not going to show you. The concept of Herobrine only grew from here, from creepypastas to internet memes. It's not much longer after this, trust me. Herobrine had effectively become a staple of Minecraft lore, despite never existing within the game's files. Notch was quick to dispel the rumors that he had a deceased brother, but appreciated the fact that players had made something out of his game, and he had absolutely no control over. In the years to follow, Mojang would regularly update Minecraft as usual, but would often include a cheeky reference at the end of the patch notes, a note that simply states, removed Herobrine. So yeah, I have a personal experience with Herobrine, but first,
Okay.
I want to get your first of all, what's your experience with Minecraft in general, and what's do you know anything about Herobrine?
My experience with Minecraft is not much. It's probably a lot less than the average person my age, who at least plays games somewhat regularly. I didn't really play it much when it first came out, and then it had kind of a resurgence around, I want to say, maybe it was pandemic, maybe it was right before the pandemic.
I think it was pandemic time. PewDiePie was a big factor into getting a lot of people back into
Yeah,
Minecraft,
I remember
for
that.
sure.
I remember that. I just didn't know exactly when that was.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I know that it started coming back up. I tried to get into it because a couple of my friends used to play back in the day, and I met them like later on in life, so I didn't know them when they played it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, try to get into it, and I just don't think it's my kind of game. Like,
No. All right, dude, I can't do it anymore. I whenever I play Minecraft now, I'm just like, I'm so fucking bored. I'm so bored. It's crazy.
I appreciate that people that are able to have so much fun and really do all these different modes and to each their own. I just think it was never a thing that was quite for me. So also Herobrine is a character that I've heard of around. I had no idea any of his lore. I know that people just say it as like a spooky thing in Minecraft. I've maybe seen how he looks once or twice, and that's about it. So this is all
Really?
news to
Yeah.
me. I'm
So
sure
you
it's
just-
not news to a lot of people, or
Wow,
at least parts of it are
You
news.
popped your Herobrine cherry. That's crazy.
Yeah, I really did. Yeah, it
that's-
feels like one of those things that should be ubiquitous, and I should know, especially considering how much I cover games and how much I talk about games.
Yeah.
But
That is kind of strange, but it's all right. It's whatever. It's first of all, banger story for like incredibly well written.
oh yeah, and narrated so well by that guest speaker that we had.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. That was
Yeah.
and yeah. So I was obsessed with Minecraft when I was a kid. I loved it. Brother came home with his school laptop one day and just had Minecraft on it, and I was like, "What the frick?" I was playing Minecraft on a laptop with a trackpad to like move and shit. It was awful. It was a rough setup, but that's when I was first introduced to it. Loved it. I loved Minecraft, as any kid did. And so yeah, I'm online. I'm getting around 2014 is when I'm getting into like creepypastas in general, and like just being chronically online. It was awful for me. And so Herobrine was one of those things that was like, oh, this like it really freaked me out. Minecraft can be a scary game sometimes. There's like, if you're playing that game all by yourself,
That's the most Gen Z thing you've ever said in your life.
No. Trust me.
You called out Gen Zs.
I know.
A
That
few
was really
minutes ago,
funny.
and I'm like, you're born in 2004, you bitch.
And but Minecraft can be scary by yourself sometimes when you're just sitting there mining in a cave, sitting there mining, being a straight miner. And
That's just an objectively funny sentence.
It is
to say Minecraft is scary sometimes. Sometimes you're sitting there mining.
there's no music. There's no music at all. They turn the music down, and then they play this little cave noise. It's like a spooky like little shriek that just fucking tripped me out when I was a kid. I was like, no, and I fucking clicked out of it and would start bawling, dude. I was like, I hated it. Because I always thought Herobrine was in it. I always thought like he was like lurking in the caves and was like fucking taunting me.
Oh, you believed this?
I believed in it. I thoroughly believed in Herobrine, and
I guess it makes sense for this to be like have such a long lore, considering that a lot of kids played Minecraft.
Yeah.
So
it's
that definitely. Because any like rational adult reading that and being like, yeah, I messaged Notch and he was like, I used to have a brother. It's like, what? Why? First of all, why would he respond to your email?
Yeah.
Second of all, why would he tell you that he has a deceased brother in that way? Like,
it's very short.
it really
like,
was kids carrying that as far as it could go.
Dude, Isaac, our editor, he had Herobrine blogs where like he would like describe it. Like he's first of all, he was obsessed with Minecraft. He's a red stoner, I think that's what they call him.
Okay.
Where they like get really into like the technical shit with like the command blocks and like all that shit. I don't know, I'm not doing you justice, Isaac. But he had like actual like blogs. I might be able to link them in the description where you could read like how to know if Herobrine is in your world. Number 1, strange pyramids in the ocean. like just dumb shit like that.
You are given every accent. That's not at all what Isaac sounds like. What an interesting little cadence to give him.
But that's how I read him. Whenever he sends me a text, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a story. So I'm playing Minecraft with my cousin, Minecraft PlayStation 3 edition, and we're sitting there chilling. just doing a regular old ass world, you know, having a good old grand time. And so his little sister is playing with him, split screen. I'm playing by myself online. And we're kind of just all playing, hanging out. His little sister leaves, just sets the controller down, leaves. And we're still playing, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually I start to notice like weird things going on in the world. So we were like mining, you know, and then all of a sudden there was like a really weird like cave formation that was not natural. Like you can tell when things are procedurally generated in Minecraft. This was not it. It was like very like kind of similar to the 2x2 kind of things, but just a little bit more elaborate, like the tunnels. We would just be wandering, and then all of a sudden, boom! There's a redstone torch that just placed out of nowhere, and I was like, "Dylan, did you see that?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "There's a redstone torch. Like, what the frick, dude?" And he's like, stop being weird, dude. Like, what are you talking about?" Every single moment, I would tell him like something weird happened, and he would just be like, "You're crazy, dude. Like, I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm mining in this cave, and then all of a sudden I'm sealed in the cave. Like, I'm like mining up, and then I look down, bottom is entirely sealed, and I'm like, what the frick? And then lava just pours on me from the top, and I'm like burning alive, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what the hell? And I see Herobrine. I see him. I'm like, Dylan, Herobrine. He's literally here, bro. He is in the game. And he's like, what are you talking about, bro? You just fell in lava. And I'm like, you have to believe me, bro. Eventually he did. Eventually he believed me. He was like, we both saw him. And he was like, Lyndon, stop messing with me. And I'm like, I'm not, bro. I'm not. He was there. And so what we did, we left the world. Then we gave ourselves admin privileges. We like put ourselves in creative mode and just decked ourselves out. We built like a diamond fortress. We like gave ourselves diamond enchanted armor, fucking enchanted bows, diamond swords, all the entire thing. And then we switch it back to survival mode. And then all of a sudden mobs start spawning like all around us, like surrounding the fucking fortress that we made. Like, not just mobs from the base game, but from the nether, too. And I was like, what the frick? Like, freaking out. And we fought him, and we beat the mobs, and then eventually we just see him, like, floating in the air. And he, like, comes closer, and he's, like, dropping diamonds, and he's dropping us gold bars. Then he places a sign, and it says, Steve, my brother. And I was like, what? What? I didn't understand it. I went years and years and I went an unreasonably long time believing that was actually Herobrine in my world, when in reality my cousin was just playing two controllers at the same time.
I was like, he's definitely the one that's fucking with you, but
yes, he was.
I don't know enough about Minecraft to know that like you can have like an extra guy in there, or you can like have a look that's like Herobrine. I don't know, like I don't know what it was
like,
exactly.
They put a skin in one of the skin packs that was Herobrine, and my cousin, he grabbed the controller that his little sister dropped. He gave himself admin privileges, so he was like flying and like placing everything, and like he turned himself invisible. He was just like stalking me and like just fucking with me in the world the entire time.
Shout out to him, honestly, for having the like
literally
with all the dexterity. The like, I'm like, I don't know if how old was he at the time?
I think he was like 13.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a child prodigy right there.
Yeah, no kidding. He was it was he never admitted it to me. Like I remember, dude, oh my, I just fucking remembered. We were doing this on phone call because there was no PS3 like party chat.
Yeah.
And so we were like on the phone the entire time, and he was like,
"Oh my god, he did it all on PS3 too. That's insane."
Yeah. And he was like, "Landon, we can't ever tell anyone what happened here." I was like,
He
oh
got your ass. Oh my god, that's crazy.
It was literally like, because I didn't play Minecraft that much after that. Like I had a couple more years after me, but
you were too scared.
I was I got braver after that because I literally beat Herobrine. Like we beat him and like we triumphed, and I was like, that was cool.
Well done. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was fine. And then years later, I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, oh, like, how did I not know? How did I not know? I still haven't talked to him about that experience to this day. I need to like be like, bro, that was awesome. Like what you
Yeah,
did
figure
right
out.
there.
Yeah.
That was truly incredible.
The plot twist to me was because I didn't know that there were like skins in it and stuff like that. The plot twist to me was you actually seeing him and him like dropping things for you, because before that I was just like, oh yeah, your cousin was dropping you in, or he was just like dropping the stone blocks. I did not see the second controller. You know, that I mean that's skill right there from
Definitely.
him.
No, for sure. It was some good stuff. So honestly, by itself, the Herobrine creepypasta like sucks. Like it's poorly written. It's dumb, but it's still
Completely unbelievable.
completely unbelievable. But it still
But
has
the fact that it
air
yeah,
of like the Sasquatch, where it's just like people still kind of believe in it, and since it's specifically geared towards kids, it's much more believable in that regard.
Yeah.
You know, that it's like, damn, that's kind of crazy. And it's just like it's still popular to this day, and like he's literally a meme at this point. Like,
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like that was a copy. It knew its audience, you know, because it was. Of course, including that email is the thing that makes you go, none of this is even remotely real. Even if there was a chance before that you didn't believe it, that's where you're like, okay, well, duh.
yeah,
But that's the exact thing that kids would see, and that's what verifies it to them. They're like, oh, he asked Notch, and Notch said that it's just that's so funny. Like whoever put that together really knew what they were doing, and I mean it spawned something that lasted for. It's still going on. I mean, when was that creepypasta posted?
2010. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
15 years.
15 years later, and Herobrine makes an appearance in the Minecraft movie. Apparently, not as Herobrine, but there's like a scene where like I haven't seen the movie myself. But there's a scene where like one of the kids is like inflicted with like a shame potion, where he's like seeing all of his friends being mean to him, and Steve is one of those friends, and he has white eyes in that scene, and it's like, oh, but the film's like director was like, nah, that wasn't supposed to be a Herobrine thing. That was a technical issue with the movie, and it's like, bro,
What?
no, it wasn't
A technical issue?
How is that? I was blocking out someone's fucking people's a technical issue. Like, what do you?
Yeah. No, I mean, even if he wasn't behind that, there was a VFX artist who was just like, let me sneak this in here.
I think
quick.
he's saying that intentionally to like basically
word.
confirm it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So ranking Herobrine, I'm gonna.
I mean, it goes straight to the top for me.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think that just the longevity that it has, the fact that it was the only one out of all of these, even though I'm more familiar with GTA and Red Dead Redemption, it was the only one out of all of these that I like knew the cultural impact of and knew the name of and everything. Like, it's just got too much. It's iconic at this point.
But it is iconic, but it's shit.
It is. It is. But there's also like an element of it that is, you know, again, not believable, but the fact that people thought that Notch's dead brother was manifesting in his game in these creepy moments, like that's got some sauce to it, you know? Like
it does. That's fair. I'm willing to put it at a 2. So we drop Sasquatch and Atari to 3 and 4, and then have Herobrine at a 2. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Okay. I think that's fair.
Okay.
But man, yeah, also the idea of doing something with Minecraft like that, because it's procedurally generated. Like so many people didn't understand how it worked, even especially back in 2010.
Yeah.
So the fact that like, oh, anything can happen, and who knows, and what are the bounds, and he did another really interesting thing in that story, which I'll give him props for, where he was like, oh, I changed the render distance, and I was doing this. It's like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's like got that technical knowledge of how this stuff works. I mean, there's a lot of things that he did that, I think were perfect for what his target audience was.
I think the legend with Herobrine at this point was like, you have to set your render distance to tiny in order to see him.
Yeah.
There was like rituals that you would do to like summon Herobrine in your world, and I would do them out of curiosity, but it never worked. It's like,
as a kid, that would freak me the hell out. The fact that like I would never touch the tiny setting in my,
no,
I just wouldn't do that.
It's scary as hell. But yeah, so that's it for Herobrine. So right now, number 2, we have Herobrine. Number 3, the Sasquatch. And number 4, the Atari landfill. So now we move on. So imagine, okay, picture. Portland, Oregon, fall 1981. A mysterious video game suddenly appears in arcades throughout the city. A black cabinet, no graphics, with a very simplistic start screen, but a very elaborate logo. The game was titled Polybius and was created by a game company known as Sinneslotion, which is German, by the way. Those who played the game described the gameplay as psychoactive, with very abstract geometric patterns and colorful shapes flooding the senses. Supposedly, the game was instantly addictive, hypnotic, and in some cases dangerous. People who claimed to remember playing the game recalled different contradictory gameplay experiences. But the strangest aspect of the story is that many supposedly suffered from seizures, amnesia, insomnia, night terrors, and hallucinations. Despite this, people were still allegedly addicted to this brand new game. Children and teens formed lines around the cabinet and fought each other for access to the machine. They continued to play and became increasingly unwell. Tragically, some players of the game went insane, some even took their own lives. But there is no official case of anyone losing their life over this game. The peculiar thing about this game is that aside from people claiming to have personal experience with it, there is no known record of this game ever existing. Not a single issue of Electronic Games magazine from 1981 through 1984 mentions the game in the slightest. In fact, there is no print reference to the game at all prior to 2003, when the urban legend was described in a GamePro magazine. There also aren't any records behind the development company Sinneslotion, a German word that very loosely translates to senseless in English. To top this off, it is said that mysterious men in black suits periodically came to service the game at these arcades, collecting some form of unknown data but leaving the coins inside. It's because of this that many think that Polybius is some sort of CIA MKUltra experiment to test responses of the game's psychoactive stimuli. However, this was almost 10 years after the MKUltra experiment dissipated. Although, who knows, these CIA guys. And by the way, if you don't know what MKUltra is, anyone out there, MKUltra was it's very illegal experiments that the CIA did to random civilians in America, ranging from like abuse, hypnotism, like just really awful stuff. Like I think the Unabomber was a victim of MKUltra as an example, although his thing wasn't really too crazy. But look into it at your own thing. It's really interesting. So, but this was 10 years after the MKUltra experiment dissipated. Although who knows? I already said that. What happened to the arcade cabinets? Who were the men in black, and were the adverse effects real or exaggerated? Who was Sinneslotion, but most importantly, was Polybius even real? So first ground level, what do you think of this spooky game here?
Okay, this one's different. This one is not, the first one that we talked about was real life lore stuff. Mm-hmm. But obviously much more innocent. This one is like a psyop, some kind of CIA agency thing. Yeah. High level thoughts. This is just they're just talking out of their ass. Yes. Or most of my high level thoughts. It does remind me of a lot of kind of more substantive versions of this, like, oh, this game is going to drive you insane, or there's something really terrible about it. Right? Like Petscop has always been. Yeah. I've forgotten a lot of the details about that one, but it's just like, ooh, there was something weird going on with that game and the way that it was releasing and everything, and people were really, really locked in on that. So this is kind of that genre. As far as that genre goes, I think it's too loose. It's too it's there's too much that you have to suspend your disbelief
Yes,
on.
no, certainly.
Because you said this was happening in arcade cabinets. It wasn't even like being sold off the shelf.
No, it's like it was an arcade cabinet. I don't think home consoles were even a thing. Maybe they were a thing. I think Atari 2600 was a thing around this time. But,
Yeah.
This was still the era where you go to an arcade. There would be arcade machines. Eventually, there'd be a new one. You go in there, you fucking spend coins, hang out, wait your turn, all that thing. And in Portland, Oregon specifically, there was some Polybius arcade machines that were dispersed throughout these arcades, and it just they were just there. And then just as soon as they were there, they were gone. And many experienced these crazy stories or effects from it. This is one of those stories that is really cool, really interesting, and very like, whoa, this is really like what's going on here. But the more you look into it, the more it just falls apart. Like,
Yeah, it sets a really nice scene. Like I have a visual interpretation of, these kids pushing each other and getting. It's like a cool little, almost like a script for a movie scene, like that's around all of this, or creating like just a fake horror story essentially.
Yeah.
On that front, it's really good. In terms of like if there's any believability to it, it's like there's no like even like bringing in the CIA and then trying to justify it with like, oh, maybe it was the CIA and maybe they were doing something similar to that other time that they were messing with people, and it's like that seems to be a very interesting spot for them to have done it. A public, or like a bunch of public arcades. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's not a controlled environment. Like, yeah, there's zero chance of this being real, but I do like it as a premise for just,
Yeah.
But the other ones, it was like, there's that more tangible element to them, Like Herobrine, you can depict him in a certain way, and you can you had that moment with your cousin where he literally like tricked you into it. Like there's something tangible there. In terms of the Atari one, it was like, well, there was actual evidence for it. In terms of the Sasquatch thing, you can actually go to that spot, and whether there's something there or not, you can go there and you can see where people are talking about this, and then also they played with it going forward. And this one's just too intangible for me,
Mm-hmm. No, totally fair. I think the only thing that kind of gives this like a little bit of like mysticism to it is that like, well, wouldn't the CIA want you to believe that it was all fake, And so it's like there's an element where it's just like, well, maybe, And the CIA was fucking wildin' back then. They were crazy. So probably still are. I wouldn't know.
I mean, yeah.
But even just a lot of the stories like saying that like kids were like going crazy and like killing themselves over this, and then the second you like look into it, it's just like there's no documented evidence of it at all. There was even a story of like a kid who was really abducted in real life, and was found like 30 miles out of the city, who said that like after he played this game, he was like transported into these tunnels. Dude, like Portland apparently has these like underground tunnels throughout the city that were used for like illegal smuggling and all that kind of stuff. And he said that like he was in that all he remembers is that he was in those tunnels and then woke up 30 miles out of the city from that. And that was a real abduction story, but he leaned into the whole Polybius urban legend thing and was like, yeah, I played that game.
Was this happening? Did he say that? Was the kidnapping like around the time that rumor was going around?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there was that. There's also a lot here. I'll kind of I pulled up there's a little Wikipedia thing that kind of dispels a lot of it. So it's rooted in several real events. So the legend kind of grew out of a mixture of 1980s influences. For example, two players fell ill in a Portland arcade the same day in 1981. A teenage Portland resident, Michael Lopez, developed a migraine headache after playing Tempest and left the arcade. He was found unconscious on a stranger's lawn after blacking out. During a filmed attempt to break the Asteroids world record at the same arcade where Lopez became ill, another Portland teen played for 28 hours until suffering from stomach cramps. 10 days later, the Federal Bureau of Investigation raided several Portland arcades in the area. The lead up to the raid involved FBI agents monitoring arcade cabinets for evidence of tampering and recording high scores. The FBI made 52 Portland arcade arrests in 1981, 25 arrests at a single arcade a year later. Some arcade machines have been converted into gambling machines by the arcade owners. And I think the whole why the FBI was there in the first place was like they still didn't know if like video game arcade cabinets were like gambling for children or not, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why they were kind of there being all crazy. So I like the idea of like, yeah, these are all like real stories and then just creating an urban legend surrounding it. Like that's kind of cool. And it goes into the whole video game hysteria of the time, you know?
Yeah, that makes me like it a little bit more. And there's also, you know, just the idea of games causing seizures and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of stories like that. I mean, in one case with Pokemon, there was that actual episode that did cause seizures in Japan, and then they didn't air it in the US, and you have to like look to find it. And that takes on its own mysticism. So I do like creating a narrative around all of that, but it's cooler to me that they're not cooler, obviously, but it's more interesting to me that those things actually happened and there were these like games that were causing those kinds of reactions than to make up a fake game that was supposedly like treating everyone differently and they were having crazy experiences over it.
Yeah.
So
where are we ranking this?
Where are we ranking it? I mean, it doesn't go at the top. The only spot available right now is the bottom. But I also think that it's more interesting. I think as a story to go around telling people, it's more interesting than the Atari one. I do think it is. So, I'm kind of feeling Herobrine, Sasquatch, this. I forgot the name of the game.
Polybius.
And then Polybius, and then
Atari Landfill.
Atari one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't disagree. I think I gotta think about it for a little longer because I really don't know where I would put it. So
I have now put one that you started off ranking number one.
Number one.
At number
all the way
5.
Yes.
So I feel like you have some beef with my list.
I don't know. They're all
I want to
like
hear what
equally
you,
fun.
if you had this list apart from what I'm saying, I want to hear where you would put everything.
We'll get into it. Let's do the last one here.
Let's get to the last one. Yeah.
And then we'll do that. So, speaking of Pokemon, traditionally, JRPG towns are very cozy, a sense of respite from the annoying ass random encounters you'll experience every 5 seconds in the overworld and dungeons. In town, you can look for side quests, barter with a merchant, explore various nooks and crannies, among many other activities. The music coincides with that concept by usually having very relaxing atmospheric music to settle the nerves. However, in 1996, the JRPG town theme would transcend its digital medium, or so the internet would have you think. 1996 saw the release of Pokemon Red and Green for the Nintendo Game Boy. In these games, players can find a lowly village by the name of Lavender Town, a small settlement covered in a beautiful hue of purple. This town is the player's first introduction to the concept of Pokemon dying, as it is the home to the Pokemon Tower, a mass graveyard filled with mourning trainers and hundreds of tombstones for deceased Pokemon. Obviously, what was really notable about this region is just how dark it is in comparison to the rest of the game. It accentuated that darkness, and to accentuate that darkness was the town's infamous theme, a strange, somber theme with unnerving pitches and disorienting note dissonance. The song sounds a little something like this.
It's like, it like creeps up on you. It's got a weird off-kilter, off-key nature to it. It's definitely a little strange. Yeah.
It is. So now, allegedly, when Japanese children reached Lavender Town in-game, a sudden spike in strange behaviors occurred, such as headaches, irritability, nosebleeds, insomnia, and even more severe side effects such as suicidal thoughts, violent behavior, and brain hemorrhaging. Hemorrhaging. It is said that the original Lavender Town music uses binaural beats or high-frequency tones that only children can hear, thus resulting in the unexplained phenomenon that brainwash children into their erratic behavior, known colloquially as Lavender Town Syndrome. Nintendo was quick to cover up the stories of children affected, and shortly after the game was released, a government investigation was launched, but kept mysteriously quiet. Some even claim that Nintendo was working with the Japanese government directly in some way, shape, or form. However, no official documentation of the story was ever produced. Strangely enough, when the North American version of the game was released, the Lavender Town theme was altered to have a less harsh-sounding frequency, and some notes were even smoothed out or layered differently than the original Japanese release. Now, this is all according to an anonymous poster on 4chan, with very real scientific data from very real doctors, with very real test reports. But it was all suppressed by some unknown entity until the information was finally put to light by Mr. Anonymous of 4chan in 2010. However, the idea of children being negatively affected by Pokemon in mass wasn't entirely fictional. As you mentioned before, in 1997, the Pokemon anime made headlines worldwide when flashing images from the episode Computer Soldier Porygon induced seizures in over 600 Japanese children. Although most of the kids were fine, 2 had to be hospitalized for an extended period of time, and then the Pokemon anime was pulled off air for a few months. So, with the very unsettling Lavender Town music and the so-called Pokemon shock phenomenon, a solid, almost believable bedrock for a story like this isn't too far-fetched, so it's no wonder why it made waves across the internet as a whole. So yeah, Lavender Town. Hit me with this. How you feeling?
Off the bat, I think this is my number one.
You think so?
I think this is, and I'll give my reasoning for it. Before I do that, was the I got the dates a little bit mixed up. Did the Porygon episode come out before this or after this?
1997, and then Red and Blue came out in 96. So the Porygon episode was a year after.
Okay, but the complaints. So okay, just to get a little bit of clarification.
Yes.
When there were complaints, and then Nintendo looked into it, and then there was supposedly this investigation that was kept quiet. Was that a claim that was made by the 4chan user, or was that an actual verified thing that happened?
This is all through the 4chan user.
Okay, but the one thing is that they did change the pitch.
Yes,
in the
that
American
is
release.
real. The only real aspect of this is that they did change the pitch.
They did change it, and then everything else was kept quiet. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now that part about it does change things a little bit, because I was under the impression for a little bit that that was verified, that they had looked into it, but there wasn't really anything.
No.
Here's my thing. What I've been talking about, with the other ones, tangibility, right? This is something that you can see the new version and you can see the old version, and you can see that there's a change between the two. On top of that, there's the Pokemon episode that we were talking about that kind of alludes to something like this maybe causing issues, Mm-hmm. On top of that, it's a location that you can still visit right now, and it is kind of it's a weirdly creepy location for that kind of series. On top of that, it's popular, just as a franchise, big popular franchise, and there's more to sink your teeth into, I guess.
Yes. With
something like this. There's more information here. It's not like some strange thing from some strange studio somebody's never heard of, and maybe the CIA was involved. That one was way too, there's nothing really there. But this one, it just has enough. It has enough that makes you go oh, and it's also written better than the Herobrine story, because I wasn't even realizing that you were basically just quoting this 4chan person the entire time. I was okay, interesting.
I wrote this entire excerpt.
Yeah, no, I know, but all of the information that you were giving.
Thing. I was quoting the 4chan user. Yeah,
the Herobrine thing, you were quoting that guy, but you were telling me if you had written that and you were and then this guy reached out to Notch and this is what he said, then I'd be okay. But if you say the complaints were made to the Japanese government and they actually conducted an investigation and yada yada. Like when you're saying that, and I'm not hearing it in the context of this is a 4chan guy who said this, I'm like, okay, that's like an interesting piece of information that I'm following through here.
Yeah.
So that all said, I think it has everything that I liked about the other stories.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any, like, a lot of the negatives to the same. The only negative it has is that it's a 4chan user.
Even still, the 4chan user went out of their way to forge like doctor documents and like to like create like fictional like doctors and like really like make reports about it. And that's like a step above.
Oh, that's fun. That guy must have really, he must have had a field day with that one.
Poorly made, but they were like still cool. And like it's kind of one of those things that you're tangentially reading this as a kid, not knowing. Plus, it's in Japan too, and it's like it's entirely foreign. So it's like, well, who knows what could have happened there? I'm just a dumbass American kid with a copy of Pokemon, and then I'm like going online and I hear this story about the Japanese version that supposedly happened. And it's like, I don't know anything.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that I think is a testament to how well written this idea is. Just at a base, like obviously like all of this is bullshit and we're throwing stuff out and whatever. But just like as an idea for somebody to come up with this and put it out there, like the fact that they're saying that the frequencies can only be heard by children, which is like taking on that scientific thing of like, yeah, you hear less frequencies as you get older, and people know that dogs and cats hear different frequencies. Yeah. And obviously it's the kind of thing that you don't even want to test on a kid. Like obviously you don't believe it, dude. But if you were to believe it, like you wouldn't test it on a child, right?
I was terrified. As a kid, I learned about this story as a kid, and I believed it. Like I really did. And whenever like I'd watch like a top 10 urban legends video, they would show this, they would talk about this, and they would play it, and I was like, no. Like I would like throw my headphones up. I would refuse to listen to it, and I was terrified of ever actually hearing the song. And so like now today, I'm like, I'm not a kid, so I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna kill myself over Lavender Town, that's for sure. But we'll
if I kill myself, it'll be over something the man would kill himself.
Woke Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this one's got to be at the top. I don't think anything else was this like well written, this like feasible without being feasible. The only other one that was in that realm is Atari and maybe Sasquatch, but those I don't think are as interesting or as consequential as this one.
So, okay, here's the first draft list that we got. Number 1, Lavender Town. Number 2, Herobrine. Number 3, San Andreas Sasquatch. Number 4, Polybius. Number 5, Atari ET Landfill. Do you feel comfortable with that list? I think
I'm happy with that list.
Okay. I think I would swap Polybius and Atari. I'd have Polybius at 5 and Atari at 4.
Okay.
Because I think just the Atari situation is really funny. So,
it is. It's just like embarrassing for that.
And then the ubiquity of Herobrine, definitely there's something there. I think it is more ubiquitous than Sasquatch, and it is its own creation. Like in-game creation, it's not based on like any real urban myth, so it kind of has like an originality to it as well. So honestly, Herobrine at number 2 I can see, even though it's poorly written. But Lavender Town number 1, I don't disagree. I think it's freaky as hell. And I mean, I was personally scared of it when I was younger, so it's like, yeah, I can totally see this. So new list: Lavender Town number 1, number 2, Herobrine, number 3, San Andreas Sasquatch, number 4, Atari ET Landfill, number 5, Polybius. So yeah, that does it for ranking top 5 gaming urban legends. Yeah, how did you feel about that topic? This
was sick. This is such again, I think I said this before, a section of the internet that I just don't really engage with. I didn't engage with as a kid. I don't really engage with now. Petscop is probably the only one of these that I actually like, looked into. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have heard these before, but at least for me, this was like a super fun time, like hearing about all of these and also like ranking them. Like it's goofy, like it doesn't really matter, but
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. See it like you actually kind of get into, hey, how well was this put together, and how well did this person try to convince people and things like that, and what was the cultural impact and all those
Definitely.
things. I thought that was super fun.
Cool.
Hopefully people enjoyed listening. I want to do this again. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
want
I
to do it
think
anytime soon because it'll kill you to put all this together again. But
we'll see. Maybe we can save it for like another like Halloween episode or something like that.
ooh, that would be a good one.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, there's plenty more gaming urban legends out there. These are definitely like some of the top 5 for sure. But yeah, we'll only get nicher from here on out. So that does it. I had a great time putting that together. It was really fun. Now, would you like to segue us into this second topic?
Yes. Absolutely. All right. So here's this. We're doing a little game. We're doing a sound effect guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play a sound effect from a video game, and I want you to guess what video game that's from. Initially, it was going to be a little bit different. It was going to be a color palette game. I was going to have a bunch of different colors that were going to make up the colors of the video game cover, and then I was going to ask you to guess, and I was super excited. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then I realized that, like, it's a podcast, and most people are just listening audio.
Yeah, they're just
Like,
gonna
oh no,
hear
people won't be
colors.
able to play along with that.
No.
So yeah, we're doing this instead.
Okay.
I have 7 games. For each of those games, there's 3 sound effects from each, and at least I think it gets progressively easier to guess the game as you go through. So the first one, it's like a little bit hard to guess it, and then by the third one, I'm hoping that you'll get there. But there are some tough ones in here, I think.
Cool.
We can do like a little point system. I mean, you're really playing against yourself,
Yeah.
but
No. I think it's I win it or lose it. So I'm fine. I'm gonna win them all. So it's no big,
okay.
no biggie.
All
to
right.
me.
I think you'll be able to get the first few at least.
All right.
Um, All right. All right, Landon, are you ready to hear this first sound effect from this first game?
Yes. Bloodborne.
Oh, you got it right away. Hey, look at you go.
I got that autism, bro. I told you.
You did say, yeah. I thought, now that I'm hearing it just like by itself, yeah, it is like a little bit more, a bit of an easier one than maybe like the next couple. But Bloodborne was always going to be an easy one for you, and you know that I was probably going to put Bloodborne on here.
That's fair. I felt like I think Elden Ring, like the mimic or like the summon bell. I think it's
right.
like very, very similar. So honestly,
Yeah, I think it is.
I could have easily guessed Elden Ring there too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna. You've already. Nice. That's the second sound effect.
Yeah.
I'll play with the other ones as well. Just the next 2 sound effects I had for Bloodborne, even though you've already guessed it. So this was the other one. And then the third one right here.
They are. Yeah, that's iconic as hell.
That always be that's the death sound effect for the game. This next one, I also feel like you're gonna get this one pretty quickly, but I can play it again also if you need.
Yeah, play it again. 'Cause it's still a little quiet. It's Resident Evil?
No, that's a good guess though. That is a good guess. Not saying that you're like, but that I could see that sound being in a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
Let's play the second one for this.
Arkham Asylum?
No. Another good guess. I'll play that one for you one more time.
You want to play it one more time?
Sure.
Oh man, I don't know what that is. Piano sting, like a ooh, you know.
Yeah, but it's got that like it's a little bassier than a regular piano sting. No.
Okay. Is it? Can you give me hints? Is it a horror game?
I would say no.
Red Dead 1?
You do have one sound left, by the way.
Is it Red Dead 1?
It is Red Dead 1. Yeah.
Oh, let's
Nice.
go, dude.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's the original
crazy.
Red Dead Redemption. I'll play the third sound also. I'm curious to know if this is a little bit easier to guess.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'm assuming you would have gotten that one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because that's the
Cool.
mission complete sound effect.
Yeah.
The one that was before that was, I believe it was the Stinger number 5. I thought it was the clothing, like different outfits. I think I had a different sound effect at one point that was like changing outfits, but it was too old westy, and I was like, that can't be number 2. That's
yeah.
a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. All right,
Sick.
you've got 2 so far. Let's move on to the third one.
Okay. Oh, Arkham.
Yes.
Okay. I can hear it clearly now. So
Okay. Good.
Perfect.
Yes, that is
right.
Arkham Asylum.
yes, iconic jail noise and
Yes, that's another somewhat easy one. This was the other one?
so these are like instantly recognizable.
Arkham was a hard one to find ones that weren't like just immediately you would know what they are, because that one was
Yeah.
the Lion Launcher, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
And then this one.
Just some meat.
Just
some meat slapping, dude.
yeah,
That's,
it's like a truck, dude. Just hearing those sounds in isolation, you're like, oh my god, they're poor bodies. I love the sound effect when he, like a finisher, and it just sounds like a car crash.
dude.
Like,
It's yeah.
what?
It's
What?
like
There's
a
no-
crack of lightning.
There is nothing in a human body that should be making that sound on impact. Like, what? Fantastic.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Okay, I think this one might be a little bit harder for you.
Okay.
And I also, well, I won't say anything. Let's give it a go.
Little Big Planet.
Dude, no way. That's Little Big Planet.
I'm that guy. I'm
That's
just that
crazy.
guy.
I really
I
didn't
love-
think you were going to get that.
I loved Little Big Planet when I was younger.
I had a feeling that you probably had played it and probably did
Yeah.
enjoy it. But
Some-
wow, that's off the
that
first
was
sound.
crazy. I was really doubting myself there too. I was like, I'm just gonna say this because I know that a sound like that is in Little Big Planet, but that game has some good sound effects. There's some
Yeah, it
some
does.
good stuff in there.
The other two for this, honestly, part of me thinks that the second sound effect I picked is even harder than the first one, but
That's I recognize that one way way more.
it's just
Holy
bare sound
shit, dude.
effects. Yeah. And then this was the third one.
Easy. Yeah. Revive.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
the revives and stuff. Cool.
Shout out
Wow,
Little
that
Big-
was
shout out Little Big Planet 1 and 2.
yes. Oh my god, I love Little Big Planet too.
Yeah.
So good. All right, so you have 4 down. You've gotten all 4 so far.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Let's move into number 5.
Sifu?
No, good guess though. It's a good guess. Do the next one. Yes, it was that short.
Hotline Miami?
No.
Damn.
I'll play the first two sound effects one more time each before I get to the third. So that was the first one, and that was the second one. Now let's get to this third one here.
Oh, Inscription.
It's Inscription.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense now, the first two. Think about that.
Yeah, the like kind of grainy, distorted, heavy sound effects. Yeah, the game loves those. The great sound effects in that game.
Yeah, dude. I love that entire soundscape. Like even like the ambient music that like is playing in the background. It's got some good shit. So cool.
Yeah. When I first put this together was when you were still playing Inscription, because it was supposed to be the secondary game for I think the first episode, but then we didn't have time for it, and then the PAX episode happened, and then the last episode you were doing it. So it's been longer, but I'm glad because I think you would have gotten it right away if it was
for sure
been playing. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. I feel like I almost don't earn. I don't earn that last one though, because that one's so.
It's. I mean, I think you could still mess that up. So good on you. All right, we got two more.
Two more. Okay, let's do this. That's a zombie, right? That's
I'm not gonna tell you.
I know what that is too. Is that Last of Us?
No.
Okay.
All right, let's do the next one.
Resident Evil?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yep,
Which one specifically?
2?
It's Resident Evil 4.
4. 4. Yeah. 4. 4.
4 for 4. Resident Evil 4 for 4. All right, let's do the last sound effect for that.
Basta, hijo de puta!
Un cofalo stelo.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love that, dude.
Good shit in there, dude. All
right, wow. Okay. You've gotten all of these. Which ones did you get on the last one? You got Red Dead on the last one, but to be fair to you, you were having a hard time hearing it at the time. And then you got Resident Evil. No, you got Resident Evil on the second one. And you also got you got Inscription on the last one. Those were the two that you were down to the wire on. But the other ones you've done really well with.
Yeah.
All right. Last one, buddy.
Play it again. It's like that last like yell is what's really like iconic, or like not iconic but like familiar. Is that I want to say this is a fighting game. Is that Mortal Kombat?
Nope.
Damn. Okay.
All right, let's play the next one. Goofy ass sound.
This is Conker's Bad Fur Day?
No. Oh, down to the wire on the last one. Last sound.
Cuphead.
Yeah, it's Cuphead.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, the like weird wind 'em ups and arcadey sounds. Yeah.
Love it.
That's good shit. Good. You know, you did. I think you did better than I would do in your position. So? Yeah. I don't have a great ear.
We'll test that.
for
We'll
things.
put that to the theory one day.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
test that out one day. I'd be down to do it. I just think that I would be really, really bad at it.
Yeah, no, it's my brother. We were all hanging out with we were hanging out with a lot of his friends that were over, and we were playing these dumb guessing games on YouTube where it's like guess the movie from the frame, and like I was getting like all of them, and then it was like guess the game by the soundtrack, and I guessed all of them. The
Wow.
very last one, like the expert difficulty one, was like guess the game, and it was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 soundtrack, and I was like that's Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and they're like what, and they were like what the fuck, Landon. I was like
That is a little bit messed up. I would be
It
so
is.
bad at a soundtrack game. There's a lot of soundtracks that I love, but I don't listen to soundtracks in my spare time, and I feel like I would just there's a couple that I would nail, and then I would be lost on the rest of them.
Gone. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Just cue the fucking Uncharted theme. That's it. That's all.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
all I can name. Yeah, that's about it.
Great.
Damn. Well, good
So,
shit, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That does it for the second topic of discussion. Now, which is great. Pretty good stuff. Now we get into what we are playing. So yeah, we got a couple of games here. Not a couple of games. I have a couple of games, but you seem to have 3 to 4 games here.
Do I have 3 to 4?
You got Doom: The Dark Ages, Last of Us 1 and 2, and then maybe Lies of P.
I gotcha,
There's a big question mark there.
Big
so
question mark
we'll
on
see.
that one, yeah.
But yeah, go hit me with Doom: The Dark Ages. How you still enjoying it? Like
Yeah,
what's
I
going on with
finished
that?
it.
Cool.
I finished it probably pretty recently after the previous podcast that we did. So I've had some time to like sit with it, and I haven't like thought about it too much because again, I love Doom. Doom Eternal is it's my favorite first person shooter ever. Love Doom to death. That said, it is kind of junk food to me, and I think it's also designed that way. It's just like incredibly designed junk food. I don't know how that analogy works. I'm like, whoever's out there just making like the creme de la creme. It's like in and out, I guess. I don't know what that analogy is, but the point is that they're
Some high-end
just
junk food.
at the high-end junk food. Like they really, really, really know how to design a video game over at id Software, and you know it's interesting. I think at the end of the day, I still see this game more as a side quest compared to a full-on bona fide sequel. And I was talking to you about how I wanted to make that video about sequels, and I was talking in the last podcast like that was like really far along, but honestly I'm put that on pause. I'm doing a different video right now, so I'll get back to it eventually, and I want to pin down exactly why I felt this way and why people overall are feeling that way. But high level thoughts are that I think it's a really, really fun game. It implements parry, the parry in a fun way. In Bullet Hell, the majority of it was a little bit easier than I was expecting. I was playing on Nightmare difficulty, which is the highest difficulty that you can play on without it like restarting when you die. Because Ultra Nightmare is it does that, and then they apparently added another difficulty after that, which is also it's even harder, and you also go back to the beginning when you die. Didn't want to deal with that, so with that said, Nightmare was a little bit easier than I was expecting, and then they patched it to make it harder, which was kind of nice, but also was like at a weird time when the game was also ramping up in difficulty anyways. It was a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Overall, had a good time with it. Definitely felt like familiar ground, even though I was engaging with the game in a different way than I've ever engaged with a Doom game, because I was kind of going at things head on and almost waiting for things to hit me because you can parry them, bring them back to people. Whereas in the other Doom games, you were spending most of your time running and gunning as much as possible. And movement is key, and movement is still absolutely key in the Dark Ages, but they have a mantra of like stand and fight for this one, and that definitely applies. Again, nothing I can really knock in terms of design. It is super well made. It just doesn't feel like the next big thing from Doom in the same way that Eternal came out and it was like, oh my god, like I can't believe some of the stuff they're doing here. Even if you prefer one or the other, I would be surprised, I guess, if somebody's favorite new age Doom game was the Dark Ages. you're probably a 2016 guy or an Eternal guy, and then Doom: The Dark Ages is maybe number 2, maybe number 3 on your list. But I'd be surprised if it was number 1. All that rambling aside, if you haven't played it, consider playing it. Nobody makes shooters the way that id Software does. Even if you you want to talk about the merits of a Destiny and a Halo and everything like that. Like the type of game that Doom is, nobody makes it to the level of id Software whatsoever. I've also been replaying The Last of Us 1 and 2. That's what the next video is about. Might be out by the time that this podcast is out also, hopefully, if I'm on time with everything. To finish the season, had a lot of thoughts, and then I was like, I want to compare those thoughts to the game and also just live in the games for a little bit, because I have spent a lot of time thinking about them and a lot of time replaying the first one, but not replaying the second one ever. I played it a couple times when it first released, and I haven't played it since, at least in full. And I always meant to get back to it, but I know that it's kind of a trek, and there's some weird pacing stuff and everything. So this kind of gave me an excuse to do that, and I really just tried to live in these worlds, and I think I somehow managed to appreciate them even more going through them, and really picking apart as in a review set. I never played either of the games as with a reviewer's mindset, and I played it with a bit more of one for this, and it actually made me appreciate it even more. And I was like, I really like how they did a lot of things in these games, and I think the only thing that they really struggled with in the series was getting the pacing of part 2 right. Mm-hmm. But I've also always been of the opinion that is kind of a necessary evil for The Last of Us 2. With what they were trying to do, you had to have some weird pacing in order to pull it off. So yeah, it's been fun. 2 definitely plays a ton better. I did not realize how big that gap was. I always gave props to The Last of Us 1 for its gameplay, and now going back, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit simple. It's not bad by any means, but it's simple and clunky at times. But yeah, I mean, there's not much I could say about The Last of Us that at least I'm not saying, in that video to add on here. But I know you've played them and you love them too. So
no, for sure, they're almost. Last of Us 1 is a game I've replayed way too many times at this point. It's a very get back into it and experience the entire thing in a weekend type of game. Yeah. And I love it. That game is a very I cherish that game a lot.
It's near perfect, in my opinion.
Genuinely, yeah. Actually, are you playing the original version or the remake?
I'm playing the remake, just because they also have the remake on PS Plus. So
right,
I just kind of gotta. And
do you know how do you like it in comparison to the original? Is it do you find yourself whoa, this is a cool upgrade, or have you just not been thinking about it?
I think when I was starting to play it, it felt that rose-tinted glasses thing of oh yeah, I could. They're interchangeable. This is a very minor upgrade. When I go back and I look at how The Last of Us looked in 2013, it still looks beautiful. Mind you, there are scenes in the original remaster where I'm if I didn't have the image of the remake in my head so clearly from playing it most recently, I might not have been able to tell which one it was, if it was remaster or remake. Yeah. And credit to that game. It still looks phenomenal, but it's also a lot more stylized, and this one feels a lot more in line with how part 2 looks, and the character models are a lot more similar. So yeah, it's kind of filling in the gaps in my head of how I have always thought about The Last of Us. But I've gone back and revisited the game a few times over the years, and I revisited it before playing part 2 for the first time. So yeah, no matter how you play that game, great, and I think it holds up at its core a lot better than a lot of games that were coming out at the time. It's kind of wild thinking that GTA 5 and BioShock Infinite both came out the same year as The Last of Us. The fact that what a year that was especially for people like us. But also going back and playing GTA 5, it feels outdated. It feels very, very outdated at its core. Going back and playing BioShock Infinite, I don't know if you'll feel this if you go back to it, because I know you did kind of go somewhat recently, but when I played it, I thought that it felt very outdated as well. And then playing this, it was just man, they they knew what they were doing. This is going to age so much better than everything around it. So,
Yeah. Well, I'll have to get to it eventually. It's been on my mind for obvious reasons, but I'm just not in the mood to play The Last of Us right now. But
that's fair.
I would love to make a video about these games, and I think like when I eventually find an idea there, I think I'm just gonna fully immerse myself into that universe once again and put it down for a long while. But yeah, it says here you're playing Lies of. Well, you might be playing Lies of P. Is that true?
Yeah, a lot
Are
of
you lying to
question
me?
marks because I've been so busy the last few days, and I'm going to be busy the next week or so. And so I was like,
Yeah.
Summer Game Fest, they announced Lies of P DLC
Mm-hmm.
out now, and I was like, oh my god, that's incredible. Have you played Lies of P? You've played Lies
I have
of P.
not. No.
You haven't?
No.
You bitch. What are you doing? What are you doing? That game is incredible. It's so
Yeah.
good.
I gotta get to it.
It's the only Souls-like that you can even mention in the same breath as From Software. But it also does its own thing. It's like it's hard comparing it to what From Software does because it is trying to chart its own path to a point. But combat-wise and atmosphere-wise, you can obviously see where it's getting its influences, and it's so good at imitating what they do so well, but still not feeling like a cheap imitation of it. And the extra things that they put together, like the weapon system. Do you know how the weapons work?
I used to. I don't know.
So there's like two sides. There's like the blade side, and then there's the handle side, and they have different affinities and different I guess qualities to them that you might want over the other, and you can like connect a different hilt to a different blade and create new types of weapons. And
okay.
it just really increases the variety, and it's really cool, and obviously very parry focused. I love parry focused games. Boss design's great. The world building and the lore is really interesting, and especially what they're teasing with what they might do with the rest of this series going forward is super interesting. And then they just announced DLC, and they announced that it was out that day. They shadow dropped it essentially.
That is crazy, yeah.
And so I was really looking forward. Once I get the time to play, that's going to be the first thing I play, and I'm super down to get into it. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to start it yet. So that's why I have a bunch of question marks. I was like, I don't know if it'll be there, but yeah.
No, I feel it. It's a busy time, super busy time. But
yeah. What about you? What have you been playing?
Yeah, so I'm still playing Clair Obscur. I'm at the end of Act 2, and I keep running into a problem with this game where I'm like, okay, play the story, Landon. Play the goddamn story. Just do mainline. Even to the point where like, it's not really a spoiler, but like I'm to the part where you're like approaching the paintress, and then I'm like, oh wait, but I missed this picto back there. It's like I want to go back and like get all like I keep getting a completionist mindset with this game. It's just very frustrating because first of all, no map, no waymark pointers. There's no quest log. I can respect games that do that. The no map thing, not really acceptable, to be honest. Like it just kind of is very infuriating. But like
I would say
kind of like
the
no
best
quest log thing is like, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah,
about that, but
I wish that they had just taken like a Metroidvania approach, like a Hollow Knight type approach, where you can set your own markers. I just want to know, especially like where I've gone and where I haven't gone, right? Because that was my main thing. Because I finished this game, and I know there's a lot of endgame content that I haven't done, but I just didn't have that urge to go in and go into all of these different places and fight these different bosses, because I was like, I don't even know where I've gone, and I had already doubled back on things like pre-endgame, looking at things. I was just like, that's unfortunate. I understand what you're trying to do, but it does make it harder for me to get to the content of this game that I really want to get to.
it's so frustrating because it's like you'll come across something where it's like, oh, I need to come back to this. I can't do this right now. I'm into what the story is doing. This is really hard. I'd like to come back to this when I'm a little bit more leveled up and I have more experience. I'll put a pin in this for now. Then I just entirely forget where that was, what exactly was there, or like I'll miss like a little corner in like a side area and that has like a picto that is really vital to like the build I'm trying to do for a character, you know. I keep falling into doing the manor shit where you're in the manor and like getting all like the secrets in there. And so it's a problem where like I can't help myself but to do the optional objectives, which are for the most part fun, but very frustrating when I'm trying to get through the story and I'm like backtracking in a sense.
Yeah.
And so because of that, bro, my characters are level 50 and at the end of Act 2 already right now. Like I've grinded like crazy. I got like all the Luminas learned from like all the Pictos I've collected so far. Combat, dude, is so fucking good.
It's so good.
It's so good. I like there's moments where I'm like,
it's like frustratingly good. I'm like, holy shit, how'd you guys pull this off?
Right. Like I'm there. I got like a 3-player combo. I'm a big fan of like using CL, Lune, and Mael as like my front goers, and then Minoko, who I love Minoko, he's awesome, and Verso. They're in the back sidelines. So Minoko is a pretty good support in some cases as well. Like he has like a shield ability that like kind of shells you, which comes really good in a pinch. And Verso just does so much damage. But Lune. Crazy support, CL, crazy support, but also does a substantial amount of damage if you like build her right. It's incredible. I don't know where I was going with this, but moments where you think you're tired of like playing like the same combos you're like going through. It's like I've been playing as these 3 characters for a long while. I keep doing the same moves. I know my go-to strategy. It's a little boring. You get a Picto that changes everything. You get a new ability that changes everything. You switch up the lineup and it's like, whoa, I can do this with this character and this character can build me up here. It's frustratingly good. And I just building them up and getting them more and more powerful is really great. And I just keep hitting 9,999. I know there's a Picto that breaks that, and I'm excited to get there.
I love that when that shows up. I was like, thank God, dude.
Yes, dude. It's really frustrating right now. So I'm gonna get to it. I really need to finish it. I am really, really, really having a hard time focusing on making a new video with this game. And I've been so fucking busy lately that it's been totally putting a hamper on my like productivity. Yeah. And so I just need this week. I think I'm just gonna like hardcore focus on finishing it, and hopefully I can get. I don't know. Is Act 3 very long in comparison to Act 2?
Not at all. It is like
really.
I'll tell you that if you want to mainline it, Act 3 goes by so fast.
Okay.
Like a couple hours.
Okay. Cool. That's good. I'm entirely fine with that, because I'm kind of at the point where I'm done. I'm just done. I'm like, this is great. I've had a great time. I just want to see what happens and move on, But
if you're approaching the end of Act 2, you could finish the game tonight if you have the time.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. And then Elden Ring Night Rain came out since we recorded, and I had a fucking journey with this game, dude. So first of all, we got to play this game together.
Yes.
I think if we get Isaac in on this as well.
For sure.
Yeah,
and my brother also has it. Yeah.
Isaac. Talking to you. And then
breaking the
your
fourth
brother,
wall,
of course. We can get this going. But I basically mastered this game.
Okay.
My brother and I, we went up. So his friend, he just bought a new house, and he has like a lot of land there, and it was like, whoa, this is great. So proud of you, dude. Like you've really built yourself up. And he just had middle of nowhere. Let's all just be goblins in a cave and play Elden Ring Night Rain for an entire weekend. And we put 30 hours into this game nonstop. It was straight like I was the kid in Portland, Oregon who got tummy aches from playing games nonstop. And it was like, we play it, we're understanding it. It's very frustrating at first. This game is very hard and it's very RNG focused, and that is by far my main complaint with this game. You select a boss. It tells you what the boss's weakness is on the map. It's like it'll tell you where like the elemental affinities are. You go to the boss's like weak point and you get your weapon there, and it's a random weapon, which is very frustrating because I played Iron Eye, who is the bow character, and obviously I want to shoot some bows. Like I need a bow, and it was like an off chance that they would just give me a fucking staff like a magic staff or a fucking colossal greatsword, and it's like, bro, I'm a dexterity character with a bow. I can't be doing holy damage with a fucking mace. Like, are you kidding me? Really sucks. But when you get the bow, like, and you eventually learn like where you can find like more. There's areas where you can find like specific weapons, like there's bow racks, there's like staff racks and all that shit, and there is a chance that you can get it. The merchant almost always has an elemental weapon there as well, but sometimes the elemental like weakness just isn't in the map at all. Like randomly it's just like, nope, you don't get it this game, and it's like, what? Why? At least throw me one fucking place where you can get me a poison bow. Like, it's so frustrating. A poison anything, a twin blade, I don't care. Like, something that works with my character. And so it's very frustrating in that regard. But when you get a good run, it's crazy. There's like a huge snowball effect with this game where it's like you're very weak, you're starting off, you're doing all this small shit, you're getting there, then you hit a boss, you get a shit ton of souls. And how they do the character progression system in such a short amount of time is so fascinating, where it's just you go to a grace, you spam the button to level up, your character is like mid Elden Ring playthrough, level strong in the first like 10 minutes. And it's like, that's awesome. Love that. That feels good. You get your bow. You find like a smithing stone. You upgrade your bow. Now you have a purple bow with holy damage, and the boss has like an elemental weakness to holy. And it's like, cool, awesome, I'm set. Great. Fuck, my brother did not get a holy weapon. Okay, cool. So he's gonna be handicapped this entire game, and my my friend doesn't have a weapon he's comfortable with, but it kind of does do holy damage. So maybe we'll see. It relies all three of you getting a good run of weapons in order to like have a standing chance against the boss, because these bosses are fucking tough. These are some of the hardest Souls bosses I've ever experienced, and it was a journey to defeat them, but we did it. We got to the final boss in Elden Ring Night Rain, and and we beat him.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was that boss, one of the coolest Souls bosses I've ever experienced.
Wow.
So yeah, we're
shit. Now I gotta play it.
I'm excited for you to see it. He was very tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe. And it's another frustrating thing about this game is that it takes a long time to get back to those bosses. It's like 40 minutes to do a boss run, to get back to that boss on the off chance that you can beat him, maybe. You know?
Yeah.
Very frustrating, but it's super fun. Can be a little like, you know, like, damn, dude, you really couldn't have dodged a little better right there. You really fucked us over. Like, you could, seriously. And it's, even I'm responsible for that too. It's like, my brother who's getting upset, he's like, Landon, you have to learn the dodge patterns. And then next game, I was dodging this guy like a fucking menace, dude. Like, I was like going crazy, and I was like, shut up, bitch. Like, I know what I'm doing. So much
shit to my brother. I know it.
Yeah, dude. It's really frustrating too. But like the revive, some of the ways you can get the revive come in so clutch, dude. Like, you do damage to revive them. And Iron Eye, the character that I like primarily mained, he has like a huge bow attack that does so much damage. And both my brother and his friend were down, and I was like building up my ultimate meter very slowly, very, very slowly, dodging this boss like crazy, getting hits in whenever I could. And I was like stack on top of each other. And so they piled onto each other. And then eventually when I got my ultimate, I fucking slid, did my ultimate, revived them both in one shot, and then we took this boss down, dude. It was so fucking fun. It was so like sick. Moments like that were just truly hilarious. Here, I'm gonna open my window for a little bit. There you go, Sadie.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, that's Elden Ring Night Rain. It's pretty great. They need to do a lot to this game. It's very boring pretty fast. Once you do like all like the main stuff for like the first 20 to 30 hours, there's really no reason to go back unless you want to wrap up some bosses or just to hang out with your friends for like a night or so, you know. One area in the map that you can explore, the map does change sometimes, but it's on an off chance. There's some really cool stuff that they do with that that's really interesting, but it's, if you don't have the time to explore it, then it's like, sucks that you didn't get to experience that part of the map then. And it's like, fuck, dude, what the hell? Like, I want to just give me a little more time to experience it.
Yeah.
She's on my cord, like my headphone cord, so I can't.
Oh, no.
but it's fine. It's okay. I'll just like freaking gamer neck it. There's a lot of potential with this though. I can see them doing a bunch of updates, adding more characters, adding more map variety, adding more bosses, even bosses like legacy bosses. Like you get to see a lot of bosses from Dark Souls 1 here that were really cool. But it'd be cool to see like some more returning bosses, not even just from Dark Souls. If they could do some stuff from Sekiro, that'd be sick. There's a character that's tailor made for Sekiro players too. He's entirely parry based. That's
I've
really
heard,
fun.
yeah.
So yeah,
That might be my main. Who knows?
It sucks because he's like kind of like he's the what is it, the weak link in a sense. Like he's often regarded as like he's not really like support or anything like that, and like you have to nail those parries, otherwise you're like done for. But you're a parry guy, so I know you got it.
Yeah, come on.
Plus, just have fun, man. Just freaking have fun with it, bro.
Yeah, no,
that's it for Elden Ring Night Rain, though. I had a great time with it, and then I'm excited to play some more of it when they eventually release some more stuff. But I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, I really didn't think I was gonna play this game. I didn't think that I would get some FOMO for it, but I'm starting to, and I'm like, well, yeah, I got. If people have been talking up the bosses a decent amount, and I'm like, well, now I gotta. That's how you get me, really.
Yeah,
I think I could maybe do without the overall gameplay loop. I was like, you know what, I can skip out on that. But I mean, great From Software bosses. I'm not gonna skip out on that. You know, I gotta play those. It does suck that I basically do need two people because I've heard the solo experience isn't great. And plus, like, if they have the 3-player experience, I want to experience that. But yeah, we should find a time to do it. I can't do it this week, but hopefully the week after. The good thing right now is that I have a lot of videos planned that don't require me to play games, like for them, right? Which is like always great. It's like a couple of months where I probably, as long as I stick to this schedule, which I probably won't because I change my mind so quickly. But yeah, I typically don't have much that I'm playing, so we should definitely get on this.
For sure. Maybe we can. Ow! She fucking. Jesus Christ. Adama, yeah. We'll definitely get to it. That'd be phenomenal, fantastic.
Cool.
So yeah, that does it for what we are playing. Here, pretty much wrapping up, but before we leave, we got Osid's little indie corner here. So yeah, what is this game that you bring to our attention today?
Let me get to my actual document for this. Okay, so the indie game for this week is Fury. This is, I don't know if you've heard of this game before, but this is one of my favorite indies ever, and it's one that doesn't really get the same level of exposure as like your Hollow Knights or your Cupheads, but it deserves a lot more eyes on it. It's this boss rush bullet hell game combined with super tense parry-focused melee combat sections. It like flips back and forth between long-range combat and one-on-one sword fights. It does one of my favorite things in games where it gives you a big reward for taking risks. In this case, if you parry instead of dodge, you actually gain your health back. And the bosses all pose unique challenges and have really great movesets. It's pretty tough. I've replayed it, I think, 4 times, and at least once on the highest difficulty. There's not a ton of stuff outside of boss fights, but it's just highly replayable, highly engaging. And it's a game that I don't think I'll ever get sick of. It's kind of like a mini Sekiro for me, just one of those really tough games that still somehow manages to feel like comfort food. Also, if you've heard of Cairn, which is a new climbing game that recently got, I think, revealed to be coming to PlayStation as well, but it's currently on Steam. This is actually made by the same studio, which I literally found out 5 minutes before recording this podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea. I looked into Fury. I was like, okay, I want to write like a quick little blurb about this. And then I looked out the studio and what else they made, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. But this game is so much fun. I love this game, and it's not that long. It's if you're okay at the game, you can get through it within maybe 5-6 hours. And if you're really good at the game, you can breeze through it. I think you can get through it I think I might have played it once in under an hour.
Yeah. This looks super fun.
Yeah, you'd enjoy this.
8 years ago, or 9 years ago, since release. Which is pretty crazy. But yeah, it seems like they're doing well. They got new games going on. For sure, I feel like this might be something I would check out eventually, but probably not for a long time. So
Did you end up finishing Blasphemous? Are you playing that at all?
no, I totally dropped off.
Damn.
It's just I've been so fucking busy. I was trying to play it on the car ride to and from Wisconsin, but it's just not a game that you play when cramped into a car with no headphones. So I was like, nah. I would like to get back to it though, because I do like Blasphemous quite a lot. So, and I'd like to play like one indie alongside another game.
Yeah.
Too, especially while like making stuff. But yeah, so that does it for episode 4 of the Code Cleric podcast. I'm Landon Hansen, of course. I don't even know if I introduced myself, but like we have YouTube channels where we talk about video essays and all that kind of stuff. So you can go watch our actual content there. This is fake content that we don't really make. Do you have any final thoughts before we head out?
I guess let us know what your favorite urban myth, gaming urban legend was from this video. How you would rank the 5. Let us know if you want to see more of this. If you haven't seen our previous episodes, we just did one about hot takes. That one's super fun. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.